oldest SUV maker around. But what we lack in the cautious restraint of age, we make up for with the gravel-pounding ambition of youth. Telluride, Sportage, Sorento SX, and Seltos SX, part of Kia's tough and ready lineup of SUVs, with available forward collision avoidance assist and all-wheel drive. Hurry to Kia today to get $1,500 customer cash on the purchase of a 2021 Sportage.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. $1,500 customer cash for the purchase of a new 2021 Sportage cannot be combined with lease or any finance offers from Kia Motors Finance. Subject to dealer participation. Must take delivery by 11/2/20. Forward collision avoidance assist may not detect all objects in front of vehicle. Always drive safely.
You can listen to 97.1 on radio.com through your smart speaker. It's information with perspective. Just ask it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I, Amy Coney Barrett, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office on which I'm about to enter.
The duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Well, that would be Justice Amy Coney Barrett last night under a starlit sky at the White House after the vote was taken, and she was confirmed 52-48 with the only nonpartisan vote being Susan Collins in Maine. And if you're looking at Susan Collins and you're mad at her, here's what you need to understand. She's always been a purple state senator, and she's the one who pushed Kavanaugh over the hump and got him confirmed. And I guess they feel as though her no vote was going to help her get reelected in the Senate. And I know how you probably feel about that, but she's a senator from Maine, and she's doing what she thinks she needs to do to get reelected. You know, it's always like, okay, could a Ted Cruz run in Maine and get elected? Yeah, probably not. Probably not. So suggesting that you want a Ted Cruz or a Josh Hawley to be in the Susan Collins seat, that'd be nice. It'd be nice to have one of those in Dick Durbin's seat. It'd be nice if Mark Curran got elected as Dick Durbin is up for re-election. Gosh, do you guys realize how earth-shattering it would be if Dick Durbin lost this Senate race? It would be absolutely it would be mind-blowing. So go out and support Mark Curran and ask somebody who is an Illinois voter to do the same. It was quite a scene watching this vote last night. And Katie, did you watch it happen at all?
No, I didn't.
Ryan, did you take the time to sit and watch the process?
I watched the swearing in. I don't think I watched the whole thing.
Not the voting.
No.
So you didn't watch the voting. So as they were voting, they didn't have, everybody in the chamber as they normally would. But they had the Democrats were voting and walking out. And it was very, everyone wanted the dramatics of it. And Mazie Hirono, I watch her walk in. I'm like, what's she doing? And she walks up within probably less than 6 feet of social distance to the person who's keeping track of these votes. And she goes, puts her thumb down. She goes, it's a hell no. And I'm like, ooh, I think that still counts for one no, though. So just in case you were hoping that you get a little extra mustard on that one, I don't think that's how it works. But, you know, like Bernie Sanders, it was so many of these were so predictable. Like, if you wanted to know what kind of personality these senators had, you should have watched them last night. Because Bernie Sanders was just like pacing, milling about in front, waiting for his name to be called. And as he's pacing, they're like, Senator Sanders. And he's like, no. And then he just walks out. Like, there was no point with which he stopped. He was just pacing. And then he just offered this grouchy no and walked out. Like, of course he did, right? Of course he did. It was something to behold. And the Republicans, they weren't standing up. I don't know where they weren't on the fixed shot that was there in front of the Senate there. And, you know, one of the things that was interesting about this vote is that Mike Pence wasn't there. So in the event that something went crazy, so they must have been real confident about how this was going to go. In the event that something went crazy, Mike Pence was not present in order to break that tie. I imagine he would have been able to become present, but I don't know what the timing and stuff on that is. But when Mike Pence isn't there to break that tie, I was just thinking like, okay, no funny business, no John McCain, you know, final no vote at the end here that's going to put a kink in the whole system. But she passed, and it's amazing to see some of the just utterly epic meltdowns that have occurred since, like, on social media, just the people talking into their phones and their cars. Why is the car the place you have your meltdown? Why do you, Katie, Ryan, have you guys ever had just a complete and total utter meltdown in your car and been like, you know what would make this situation better? I should film this.
Oh, so pathetic. So pathetic.
I feel bad sharing them. I watch them, but I feel not comfortable being like, wow, here's this one of this person's lowest moments. You should see this. Now, so granted, they're the ones who took it
right
and filmed it. So would this help them to reach more people with their angst? But, you know, just like the idea that because Amy Coney Barrett was confirmed at the Supreme Court last night, oh my gosh, like some of these, I don't understand it.
These were car meltdown videos. I must have missed this last night. This was all over.
Well, they're all over
Amy
Twitter. So when you watch them, they're like, I guess they better go find me a husband now, since we're going back 100 years in time, and men know best. And I'm like, I don't think that that's at all what happened. I feel as though you've been given bad info.
Yes, I read a status this morning from someone that was just talking about this, and the status read, "We should all be very concerned because we're doomed now," about Coney Barrett being a justice. And then right below that, there was a comment from a woman saying, "I cried all night last night watching the confirmation."
I'm waiting until election day.
Wow.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. I kind of feel like I want to share this one. Maybe I will. I don't know. I don't want to pile on. Like, there are some of these people who I'm actually looking at and I'm thinking, I don't think that you're mentally stable. And I don't really want to broadcast your worst moment, but you want to broadcast your worst moment. So I'm kind of torn on it. I really am. Katie, I'm going to send you this video, the worst one that I found, and you can look at it over the break.
Okay.
And we can determine together if it is something that people need to hear.
Send it to me too.
I mean, it's definitely sad. I mean, in reality, when you see these people who are this torn up about something that they completely don't understand, they're misinformed. I want to read to you, Katie, I'm going to read the Scary Mommy email.
Okay.
Post.
Oof.
This was put, I think that this is something that people can probably relate to. I think that did you say that you had seen that post, or I was talking to somebody else who told
I had
me?
never seen that post. You were the first person to send it to me.
So there's a blog, it's called scarymommy.com. I'm intrigued by some of the things that they put up, but at this point in time in 2020, I can only take so much. It's okay to not be okay. Like, I get it. I'm there. I'm not perfect, and I don't need anyone to confirm that it's perfectly imperfect to be imperfect in a imperfect world. It's very confusing. It's an open letter to anyone still considering voting for Trump. By Gloria Marks, September 8th, 2020. Updated October 20th, 2020. This is the latest version. Friends, family, we need to talk. I've crafted this message in my head countless times and in countless ways over the past few years. I've rehearsed it in my head what to say. I've written social media posts direct at you, hoping you'll read them. I go over and over and over again what I would want to say in the hopes that you would change your mind, or more importantly, change your heart. I'm not talking about the friends, and yes, even some family members, who I have unfriended over the years or who have unfriended me. Some might say, is it really worth ending relationships about something like politics? Well, this isn't just about politics. This is about morality. This is about core values. This is about who we are and who we want to be deep down in our soul. So let me be very clear. Yes, it is always, always worth taking a stand for morality and core values. It is always worth standing up for what is right. But this message isn't for those people who are so deeply entrenched in their Trump delusions. It's for the rest of you. Gosh, this is just going to make me vomit. There is so much I want to say that is hard to know where to start, but in essence, it comes down to two essential things. Number one, I don't understand. I know you want to be a nice person. I had considered you to be a good person too. But how does a, quote, good person look away when children are put in cages and separated from their parents? When he says he's the candidate of family values, but literally rips them apart? Don't get me started. How does a, quote, good person, end quote, ignore the blatant disregard for life while calling himself the, quote, pro-life candidate when he continues to ignore all the data and science about COVID, which has resulted in the loss of over 200,000 Americans who put all of us at risk? When he cuts funding for critical programs that protect the sanctity of life? How can a, quote, good person pretend that Trump isn't a narcissist who only cares about himself? How can a good person stand by when a person bullies and belittles everyone who doesn't agree with him, who calls veterans who died in war losers and suckers, who frequently calls women nasty and name calls anyone who doesn't adore him? How can a, quote, good person stand by when this person, the one who is supposed to have our backs and lead the country, encourages others to incite or actually carry out violence? Who encourages others to commit a felony by voting twice? Who refuses to condemn violence by white supremacists and militia and instead blames the victim? Oh my gosh, there's more, and I can get through this. We can get through this together, folks. Hold on, because you know these people. You know people who feel this way. She goes on, a good person doesn't ignore these things. A good person stands up to the bullies and commits to what is right, what is moral and ethical and decent, even when it's hard. Simply put, a good person doesn't vote for Trump, which is why I'm so confused. Because I love you. I had known you to be a good person. Which brings me to my second point. Number two, if you vote for Trump, you have lost my trust and my respect. I cannot respect a person who is willing to tolerate all the things that Trump has put us through for the sake of a tax break. I cannot respect a person so hypocritical that they would vote for Trump because he says he's pro-life, even though nearly every action, aside from appointing a Supreme Court justice who is against abortion, has decidedly shown that he is not pro any life other than his own, and that the fans that chant his names at rallies. I cannot respect a person who sits in church on Sunday mornings and listens to sermons on generosity and compassion, but will check the box for a guy who promotes greed and incites violence and abuse of any of God's children. I think you need to check your sermons if that's all they're talking about. I cannot respect someone who would not tolerate their children behaving the way Trump does, yet will tolerate Trump behaving in this way. I cannot respect someone who votes for Trump. This isn't a liberal versus conservative thing or even a Democrat versus Republican issue. It is a good versus evil issue. It's about voting for Trump versus being a good person. There isn't a difference of opinion. It is a difference of morality and values. So I'm just not just confused. I'm disappointed, heartbroken, really. One of the hardest lessons I've had over the past few years is that there is a difference between being a, quote, nice person doesn't automatically make you a good person. They are not the same. And I know that you know in your gut and in your heart that Trump is not a good person. You know that he is making the country worse, not better, and certainly not great. So who do you want to be? Do you want to be a nice person? Or do you want to be a good person? Now's the time to choose. And let me tell you, if you're still supporting or voting for Trump, you are 100% on the wrong side of history. There will come a time when your kids or grandkids will ask you about 2020. They will ask you about what you did. They will want to know what you stood for. They will probably even ask you who you voted for. You will have to answer for it one day without a doubt. Please, please don't let your kids and grandkids be as confused and disappointed as I am. This is this article from scarymommy.com. You want to talk about scary? You want to talk about misguided? Do you want to talk about how many different elements of this article are just unequivocally, foundationally false? Yet you've made an entire judgment on me as a person. And chances are there are people who feel that way about you if you support President Trump. They cannot reconcile the fact that they thought that they understood and knew you. They thought they liked you, and yet you voted for Trump. Or you're going to vote for Trump. And in the midst of all of this, they're basing all of these things off of fabricated lies that always goes back to one place. It's the media, folks. They have contrived this. They have put this together. They have made people contort themselves in knots trying to understand why somebody in their family that they've loved and that has loved them their whole lives could possibly be this terrible of a person. The media is the enemy of truth in this country right now, and something really needs to change. Let's take a quick break. Katie and Ryan, I can't wait to hear what you think about that. And I read the whole thing because it's just, I think it sums up what so many people are hearing and feeling right now with loved ones who just don't get it. We'll get to your reaction when we come back. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. You can comment your thoughts there as well as Annie Frey YouTube page. Stick around. We'll be back in just a minute.
Stop the run. Stop the run. Stop the run. Stop the run.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
This November 3rd, be sure to finish your ballot and vote for your judges. Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org and learn about the nonpartisan judges up for retention this year. That's yourmissouriJudges.org. It's up to you to help make sure we have skilled, fair, and impartial judges. Know your judges and finish the ballot proudly. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org. Paid for by the Missouri Bar. Misha Epps, Executive Director.
Air Comfort Service, 314-513-0091. I just heard the furnace kicking in here, and it's so nice to have a furnace that is up and running properly to keep us warm as the weather gets cooler. Now, have you had the maintenance done on your furnace? You need to make sure that everything is working in good order, because if it stops working the way it's supposed to and keeping you comfy and cozy, you're going to need to have Air Comfort Service come out. They're the finest in the business, the kindest in the business, and they are going to treat you right every single time. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Furnace tune-ups are a necessity, and as this cold weather is setting in, you can call Air Comfort Service today to schedule that furnace tune-up and a safety inspection for your home or your business. A tune-up is just regular maintenance that heating equipment manufacturers recommend annually. Get yours scheduled today. 314-513-0091. Put that phone number in your phone for when you need it. 314-513-0091. AirComfortService.com.
The first day of owning a new, if you own a Hyundai Tucson, it's still just as amazing, which is why J.D. Power ranked it #1 in initial quality amongst all 2020 compact SUVs. The Hyundai Tucson, a great deal more than just a great deal.
Now get 0% APR for 72 months on the 2020 Tucson. See your local St. Louis Hyundai dealer or visit buyhyundai.com today. For J.D. Power 2020 award information, go to jdpower.com/awards. Offer ends November 2nd, 2020. Call 224-661-0068 for details.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. No one can predict what's going to happen, but almost all economists agree that you need to be locked in to your refinance before the election. Right now, the Federal Reserve is taking action, reducing interest rates down into the 2s. We can get you closed in as little as 30 days, and you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. Start saving now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Your energy needs are changing. That's why Ameren Missouri isn't waiting on the future. We're building it with a smart energy plan, advancing thousands of projects across the state. Here in St. Louis, we're adding new clean energy sources and installing new composite poles to better withstand storms. Moving Missouri closer to a future of energy centered around you. That's energy at work. Learn more at amerenmissouri.com/plan.
It's cash for clunkers when you upgrade with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. We'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards the new insulated door. What are your old clunkers worth? $150 for a double garage door, $100 for a single door. Cash in on your old opener and entry door too. Don't miss Cash for Clunkers in October at Overhead Door. Trusted by homeowners in St. Louis since 1926. To schedule your free estimate, call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Defund police? That's crazy. No matter where we live, we all want to be safe in our homes, our streets, and neighborhoods. We all want our children to come safely home from school. We all want to shop or dine out without fear of violence. We need more police, not less. We also need the prosecutors and judges working together to protect our homes, streets, and businesses. Vote Republican November 3rd. Paid for by the St. Charles County Republican Central Committee, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Air Comfort Service.
See you driving round town with the girl I love, and I'm like, forget you. I just the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if
Hey, honey. Rory. You asked me to wake you and tell you what happened in the election. Who won? Trump. Trump won. But I thought you could only be president 2 times. Not anymore.
Not anymore. This is stupidest. If Donald Trump doesn't play this ad at his next rally, he is totally missing the boat. That's a Lincoln Project. These people are delusional. It is a fetish for them to hate this president. And it's this dramatic commercial of a boy sleeping pleasantly in his bedroom, and the mom solemnly walks in to wake him up and say, you know, the election's over. Donald Trump has won his 3rd term. What? And the little boy's like, but I thought that, first of all, point of order, why is he asking this question now? Like, if you've run an entire election for a 3rd term, if this kid has any sense and he knows enough to ask that question, he should have been asking it before the actual night of the election. But no, it's Trump. Trump won. I thought you could only win 2 times. Not anymore. Not anymore. Stop it! Oh my gosh, you people are delusional. Katie, after hearing the for the people who tuned in midway through the article that I was reading there as we went to a break and you thought that I have lost my mind, that was a Scary Mommy article. Scary Mommy is a blog and people write stuff on there. And I was illustrating earlier, Scary Mommy, generally speaking, is like just a pouring out of, I know it looks like it, but I don't really have it all together. I'm breaking down inside. I mean, it really is what the summation of this is. And when you become a mom, there's an arc of being a mom where you really need to hear some of those things. But then after you've been doing it for a while, then it's just funny. It's like, all right, ladies, get it together. Honestly, like get yourself together. You can have the pity party. It isn't easy, but why did you think it was easy in the first place? Seriously, it's not simple. So Scary Mommy is a blog. People write on there. And again, it's just like an I'm not okay, you're not okay, we're all not okay, and that's okay kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. And so I read this article, and it's basically saying, if you vote for Trump, I can't associate with you anymore. Katie, your reaction to that, because I have a feeling that there are some people in your life who may have thought that at first. Maybe your conversations, because you're open with them about your thoughts of President Trump, that maybe you've at least made them think that you were the exception. I don't know. What's your reaction to the article?
First of all, let me just make one comment on this Lincoln Project ad. Who the hell is 9 years old saying, wake me up to see who the next president is?
My kids probably will.
They will, but that's because your job and who you are. But every other normal 9-year-old's like, deuces, lights out, I'm going to bed. That's number one. Number two, you're reading this Scary Mom blog post, and all I could think of was an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend that cheated on you, and 2 days later realize they really messed up and call you back and start gaslighting you and start using abusive tactics like, you can't live without me. You can't be you. Who are you without me? It's manipulation. And that's what I feel whenever you were reading this. It's complete manipulation. You do what I want you to do, or you are inferior. You're not worth it. Who are you if you don't do what I want you to do? And no one should ever treat someone else that they love and respect and want in their life like what you just illustrated in that blog. It's so disappointing.
Ryan, what about all of the things that they lay the brick by brick foundation about how terrible Donald Trump is, ergo how terrible you are if you support him, that are just wrong? I mean, like, complete and totally wrong.
Well, it's funny too, because it's the same 5 or 6 things that people are saying over and over and over that are based on false premises for the most part, but they say them each time as if a Republican has never heard that before. Like, what? You're telling me that people think this guy's a white supremacist? I can't associate with that. I mean, it's as if they're dropping these truth bombs in a way that's like, look, I need to do this because I'm going to save the world. And anytime somebody morally grandstands like that for any cause, whether it be for Christianity or a progressive left cause like this, for the most part, people's reaction to it is just to roll their eyes. And it has the opposite effect of what it's trying to have.
It makes me really sad that there is an organization, there is a messenger out there somewhere. Maybe it's the media. I don't know who gets the full blame of it, because, if the media doesn't broadcast it, people don't know about it. Hunter Biden, which we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes. It makes me sad that people who I consider to be good, smart people are actively this upset about something without knowing the full picture, or without ever even, there's a difference between approaching somebody with that kind of an attitude about who you're going to support for a political office and saying, you know what, Annie, I just don't get it. What do you see in this guy? And then let me tell you. Let me explain some of the things that I think that he's done that are great. Then let me talk to you about why I'm really concerned about Joe Biden being the president of the United States. I think it's possible he will be. I don't think that there's any, there's no doubt in my mind that this is not going to be, a close race up until the very end. But why don't you ask me if you even cared about me a fraction of what you illustrate in there about, how the currency of your affection and respect for another human being. I mean, you got people out there right now that kind of have this attitude about you. It's as if you're only living on their terms. You're only living in their reality. And the things that are important to them Maybe they're not as important to you, and that doesn't make them unimportant. It doesn't make it unimportant for you to have different priorities than anyone else does. Just like your priorities don't get to have any, extra heavy weight on what somebody else prioritizes in their life for anything. We don't see each other as humans. We don't see each other as friends, as family members anymore. We see each other as a red shirt or a blue shirt. Or maybe somebody who is somewhere in the middle of that. We don't look at each other as humans anymore, and it's the biggest problem we have. You could put a Republican in the office, you could put a Democrat in the office, but let's not for even a hot second suggest that we didn't have this kind of division when Obama was in office. People just handled it differently. This isn't new. We're just seeing how the other side is handling it. And the other side is handling it by telling their loved ones, you're going to have to change everything you think about this, or you're done with me, and I am done with you. That's a scary, scary thought. And it makes me think, like, if you're raising children, we talk about in that article there, they talk about, how the future generations, if you're raising children without the understanding that people are going to think different things. If your kids are going to be raised, if your grandkids are going to be raised to only accept people who think exactly the way they believe they should think, they're not going to have very many friends. They're not going to have very many positive relationships. And that's a very sad thing. And the fact that it stems from politics, please don't do this to our future generations. We got to figure out a way to right this ship, and I have no idea how to do it. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to speak with Jack Posobiec. He has seen Hunter's laptop. He has gone through it. There is an email that he highlighted today that includes the name Mark Zuckerberg. Kind of interested in that. There's also some audio out there now of Hunter Biden himself kind of fretting about the different connections that are being made and the questions that are being asked of different publications about his dealings. Is this going to ever get to the point where the mainstream media will cover it? Is there a journalist out there that can get to the bottom of these stories that is going to get the attention of the American people? We'll see. Let's talk to Jack Posobiec in just a minute.
I guess he's an Xbox and I'm more Atari. But the way you play your game is fair.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I've got some news for you. Yeah, go to run tell your little boy Frey.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Furnace tune-ups are recommended each year to keep your heating system running efficiently and extend its life. Schedule your furnace tune-up and safety inspection and get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
I'm listening daily. You are not alone. During these challenging times, listening is fundamental to promoting understanding and healing. Here's Julia Michaels on what she learned about herself in therapy.
I was having so much anxiety. I was having panic attacks every single day. And I called my manager and I was like, I need help and I need it now. And she found me my therapist. And I think for the first 2 months, maybe, because I was going once a week, I think for the first 2 months, I just sat in there and I cried. It was definitely scary. I was like, I'm about to tell this stranger that I don't know everything that's happened in my childhood. They're going to know everything about me, all my deep, dark secrets. And that's honestly the biggest takeaway I took from therapy is almost every time, almost everything comes from childhood trauma.
Talk has the power to save lives, and you are not alone. Find out more at imlistening.org.
Oh, the things that I could tell you about Christy and JT Monsheen of the Monsheen team at Berkshire Hathaway Alliance Real Estate. These people are such good people. They're so kind and they're so tenderhearted and they are so very good at what they do. Are you looking to buy or sell a home? And are you interested in working with the #1 team in St. Louis? Christy and JT carry a top 5 ranking out of over 14,000 agents in the metro area. With the market the way it is right now, you're going to need the Monsheen team to help you find that perfect home as things are moving kind of quickly. You want to make sure that you got the team on your side that knows the lay of the land and it is going to get you a great price, whether you're buying or selling. Now, if you are looking for someone who is very good at building a relationship with you, who is going to work hard to meet your every need, to build that long-term personal relationship, it's the Monchine team. Talking with Christy and learning about how she's been doing this, a combined over 60 years of experience between the two of them here. They do business a little bit differently in St. Louis than some other folks you might have heard of because it's personal to them, and they are going to help you every single step of the way. Here is the name of their website, and I'm going to spell it out for you. It's themonchineteam.com. That's the MONSEHEIN team.com. Visit them today. And when you give them a call, make sure you tell them Annie sent you.
If you are looking for a home warranty, please check out my friends at Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. You know, that maintenance part of their title is extremely important. Most home warranty companies out there want to deny your claim due to lack of maintenance. They claim you haven't been taking care of your equipment over time, so they don't have to help you out. Well, at Upkeep, they completely eliminate that worry by sending their own technicians out to your home 4 times a year to do the general maintenance for you. And if you ever need service done, they will either repair or replace your equipment, and that work is also being done by an Upkeep employee. It's not a third-party contractor trying to upsell you. Their plans are extremely affordable. You can even divide your payments up over the 12 months of the year. And when you use code DGS, you get $100 off your service. To check out all of their different home warranty plans, go to their website, upkeepstl.com. That's upkeepstl.com.
How do you change our community, fight racism, defeat COVID? We gotta vote about it. How do we reform the criminal justice system? We gotta vote about it because that's our power. And that change starts with Congress. So use your power for Congressional Black Caucus endorsed candidate Betsy Dirksen-Longchamp. In Congress, Betsy will fight for jobs and health care for our community. So make a plan to vote. It's easy. Vote early or vote in person. But we gotta vote about it. Vote the whole ballot, especially for Congress. Go to iwillvote.com for more info. That's iwillvote.com. Because if we want change, it starts in Congress with the Congressional Black Caucus and our endorsed candidate, Democrat Betsy Dirksen-Longchamp. Use your power. Vote about it. Paid for by Congressional Black Caucus PAC, www.cbcpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Congressional Black Caucus PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You can listen to 97.1 FM Talk online anytime. Just go to 971talk.com, where you can listen live and even rewind. Or download the app for your phone at radio.com.
You'll say we've got nothing in common. No common ground.
I get calls from my father to tell me that the New York Times is calling, but my old partner Eric, who literally has done me harm for I don't know how long, is the one taking the calls because my father will not stop sending the calls to Eric. I have another New York Times reporter calling about my representation of the, literally, Dr. Patrick Koh, the spy chief of China, who started the company that my partner, who was worth $323 billion, founded, and is now missing. The richest man in the world is missing, who was my partner. He was missing since I last saw him in his $58 million apartment and signed a $4 billion deal to build the largest LNG port in the world. And I am receiving calls from the Southern District of New York, from the U.S. Attorney himself. My best friend in business, Devin, has named me as a witness without telling me in a criminal case, and my father without telling me.
So if only we had Hunter Biden explaining everything to us on tape. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Would people pay attention then? My goodness gracious, people. I want to bring on our guest. Jack Posobiec joins us now. He's a host on OAN, and he has been privy to a lot more of this, the laptop and the emails that Hunter Biden has shared with somebody and forgotten to pick up his laptop. I mean, good grief. The story is so strange and unbelievable, and also they're not disputing it. They're not saying it's not real. Jack, thanks for coming back on the show with us. It's great to have you back.
Yeah, thanks, Jane. Now, what people need to understand about the audio they've just heard is that these are essentially voice memos, audio tapes that Hunter Biden made for himself. You know, at the end of the day, somebody maybe makes little notes to themselves, and it sounds like that Hunter apparently had a habit of recording voice memos of his anxieties, his worries, things he was dealing with, and he saved them all on his laptop.
And that laptop is the laptop that you've seen.
Yes, that is the laptop that I have access to, and that others have access to now, an image file of that, and that hard drive. And this is actually just the first of the Hunter tapes that do exist.
So I got that. I want to cite where I got that from. Is it thenationalpulse.com? I want to make sure I get that correct.
The National Pulse. It was first released by the National Pulse.
Yeah, it was an exclusive by thenationalpulse.com. I wanted to make sure I credited that. Jack, I see you tweeting all the time. You're like, hey, Jake Tapper, whoever, if anybody wants to get connected with this, if anybody wants to cover this information, I'll hook you up with it. What is it that they are not covering? What is it that they're hiding from or refusing to access? Like, on what grounds does a reporter in this day and age not have an interest in what you've seen?
Look, I first reached out to Jake Tapper, and I said, Jake, come on in, because he said there were no evidence of the things that President Trump and other journalists were reporting. I said, well, if you see no evidence, Jake, we're both here in the DC area. Come down and have a look at this thing. I got no response from him, so I started reaching out to others, Joe Rogan, Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban actually responded to me, but then he said he only wanted to look at the one that was turned over to the FBI, not the one that's a copy of the one that was turned over. And it's like, well, how am I supposed to do that, right? So they're playing games. No, this is certainly not the first time that the American people have seen information that's come from, shall we say, a leaked source. Certainly everything that Eric Snowden provided regarding the NSA, certainly the Pentagon Papers, the entire Watergate scandal, all of this started with leaks of information, and that journalists such as Woodward and Bernstein in their prime, or Glenn Greenwald and others, all then released and made public to the American people so that they could have information about what was going on behind the scenes. I mean, this is the essence of investigative journalism, is not reporting the things that the powerful want to be reported. It is the stuff that they do not want reported.
Well, at least of some sense of timeliness here. The big question is, what do we know? How does this rope Joe Biden in? Is there evidence on this laptop and what you've seen that unequivocally connects Joe Biden, his influence, his position as the vice president of the United States, to what Hunter Biden was doing? Could Hunter Biden have had the success that he had without having the access to his father, who was the second in command in our country?
Well, I would say go ahead and roll the tape again, because you don't have to take my word for it. Take Hunter Biden's word for it. I mean, he says, I keep receiving calls from my father. I keep getting these calls from my father about this Chinese spy chief and another business partner who's gone missing in China, starts talking about a criminal case, the Southern District of New York, and is complaining essentially to himself. And this type of self-pity, wallowing behavior is actually something that's fairly common in addicts. But he's naming his father again and again as being intimately involved with these business dealings, knowledge of these business dealings. And certainly when it comes down to it, of course, Hunter Biden was selling access to his father, because it's literally the only thing of value that he has.
Are you seeing any evidence that this storyline, that the connection that Hunter Biden has to his father, are you seeing any evidence that it is reaching out of the or let me just say, reaching into the mainstream media at all, that the story is seeping into the voting bloc that needs to hear it and know that this exists? Or do you think that we're going to run out of time?
Well, certainly you can't discount the power of social media to spread a message. Mainstream media, of course, corporate media is going to squelch this as much as they can. They're very much in the tank. But another interesting thing, just from personal experience, so I happen to be driving through Lancaster, Pennsylvania, right there, Amish country, central Pennsylvania, South Central, was listening to an 80s radio station while I was driving with my wife, and we were doing some work for OAN yesterday. And all of a sudden, an ad popped up on the radio and was talking all about Hunter Biden and his deals with China. And they were referencing the laptop and Ukraine and everything else. And I thought, wow, this is incredible. Here it is, this thing that we've been working on. And it's on the 80 station in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Wow. Yeah, that is something. Let me shift gears here a little bit, because we're speaking with Jack Posobiec. He is a host on OAN, and you can find OAN in a lot of different places. So be on the lookout for that. Expose yourself to some other alternative media outlets out there. What was going on in Philadelphia? It seems as though it's like, oh, there's another riot, and we're kind of tired of it as a country. I mean, it's people have chosen their corners, and if there's another riot that happens, people just assume that they are in the same corner as they were before. You were following this very closely, and you were watching the maneuvers were taking place last night in Philadelphia. What can you tell us? What do people need to know that may have fatigue from, again, another riot, another late night bout of violence between police and protesters?
Yeah, I've covered riots all over the country, but I'm a Philly guy. I grew up watching, Philadelphia sports teams. I went to Temple University for 4 years. I mean, that's my city. So for me, this one hits home. I used to live right up the street, actually, from Cobbs Creek neighborhood where this took place. This on 52nd. I lived on 63rd. And what happened last night, you saw a ratcheting up, because yes, there were riots, but the attacks on police officers that culminated in a pickup truck driving through a line of cops. It put 12 police officers in the hospital, including one female sergeant who was run over and has reportedly broken her leg in this. So hopefully is expected to live. Immediately after that, the police line breaks. You can see the videos of the police retreating in fear for their lives because they're being overwhelmed. And then the riot mobs start targeting businesses, and they're looting, and they're stealing everything. They're breaking into ATMs. They're stealing from Save-A-Lots and Family Dollars. These are community outlets. These are places where people go to buy groceries in that community. So, at what point do these business owners say, if we're not going to be protected, how worth it is it to us to be in these high risk areas for doing this? And this is where you get the phenomenon called food deserts or medicine deserts in inner cities, because of the crime and the violence. And then you see at 4 a.m. There's a video, a guy's driving around showing it, where business owners in Center City. Now, these are the more high-end stores. This is down on Chestnut Street, the Apple store, and it's being boarded up, and other stores are being boarded up at 4 a.m. People are out there with plywood on their own, boarding up, securing their buildings, because they know what's coming. They know what's around the corner. And this is my city, right? Why do we have to live like this?
Yeah, it's sad to see, and the division is just it widens each and every time that this happens. Let me take a minute and tell people to visit you on Twitter at Jack Posobiec, and you can follow the updates that you put there, and go to OAN and check out that news organization. We appreciate what you do here, and Jack, you're on top of so much here. Always appreciate you giving us some time on the Annie Frey Show to discuss these important things.
Thanks so much, Annie. Thanks so much.
We'll talk to you again soon at Jack Posobiec on Twitter, and go give him a follow there. I want to, if you there are screenshots of these Hunter Biden emails that are being posted. You can read through them. Do you think, Ryan, do the Hunter Biden emails mean anything to you if Donald Trump wins and Joe Biden's not the president and he's not in the path of being the number one person in power? Does it become less important to you?
No, I think it stays important. I think this is part of a larger mosaic of corruption that I do believe if we see a second term from Trump, that he's going to begin taking on. Maybe not that in particular, but there's just too many things mounting up that he will have to take on. And they may backdate to Hillary Clinton and emails and everything. I think he's gearing up for it.
The one thing that I really hope comes of this is that it is managed and handled fully by first Durham and his probe, and then by Bill Barr, and that Donald Trump stays out of it. Because if Trump wins, politically, Trump needs to do what's best for the country, not what's best for his reelection. And there are going to be hard, tough things that the president's going to have to do that I think that he has the possibility to get through if he gets an agreeable Congress, like spending reform, folks. We have to get to spending reform if we're going to get this country back and solvent again. Let's take a quick break. We got a lot more coming your way on the Annie Frey Show. Make sure you hit us up on the Annie Frey YouTube channel to watch us live. Also, the Facebook page, Annie Frey Show on Facebook. Back in a minute.
Jill Shoup has been a politician for 20 years, and she's been for higher taxes a lot. 2001, Shoup backed a new federal gas tax. 2002, Shoup voted to increase property taxes without voter approval. 2003, Shoup supported another property tax increase, 21%, but this one rejected by voters. 2008, Shoup advocated for a local sales tax hike. 2009, Shoup voted to impose new taxes on healthcare. 2011, Shoup voted for higher taxes on small businesses. 2012, Shoup backed higher state income taxes and taxes on cars. 2013, Shoup wanted a higher income tax. 2014, Shoup backed higher taxes on families, higher taxes on businesses. 2015, Shoup voted for a gas tax increase. 2016, Shoup voted for another gas tax increase. 2018, Shoup voted for a higher business income tax and a higher personal income tax. And in 2020, Taxin' Jill Shoup wants you to send her to Congress. Congressional Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.congressionalleadershipfund.org.
Just talking to you a little bit ago here about the Munching team and buying and selling homes. If you're looking to purchase a new home, you're going to need a mortgage, and you are going to want to go with Stewart's American Mortgage. You can check out other places, and when you ask them if they can hook you up with that bagel loan that comes at Stewart's American Mortgage, they're going to tell you no, and then they're going to try to sell you in on something else. Why do you want the bagel loan? Because you're going to get the same great low rates that are accessible everywhere right now. But when you work with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan doesn't have fees that other lenders are going to charge you for. This is the same application if you are doing a refinance. If you're looking to redo the mortgage you have right now, if you haven't looked at your rate lately, check it out, because there is a ton of money to be saved in interest by shaving off years on the length of your loan. Or if you want to save each month, if you want to lower your monthly payment with a lower rate, that's what I did. You need the bagel loan because he's not going to charge you those fees that every other lender will charge you for. Call him or text him at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
the total vote from 2016, not just the early vote, even as both sides continue their closing arguments. President Trump on his way to more rallies criticizing the Democratic nominee's campaign strategy.
We rushed to Pennsylvania because we saw that I had 25,000 people at each event.
He will speak in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nebraska today, while Joe Biden visits Georgia, and former President Barack Obama holds a drive-in rally in Florida, still focusing largely on the president's COVID response.
The pandemic would have been challenging for any president. But this idea that somehow this White House has done anything but completely screw this thing up is nonsense.
President Trump says his response has saved lives and that Joe Biden would shut down the economy, which Biden has denied. Meantime, the number of lives lost to coronavirus in the U.S. has just crossed 226,000. A rough hurricane season for the Gulf Coast, not over yet as Tropical Storm Zeta takes aim. Fox's Evan Brown has this live.
Yeah, Lisa, Zeta will likely again regain hurricane status now that it's moved past the Yucatan and is back in the warm Gulf waters heading north. It's been a hard summer and fall for coastal Louisiana. 3,000 plus people are still in some sort of temporary or transitional housing following big storms earlier this year like Laura and Delta. Zeta's predicted path shows it making a direct strike on the Louisiana coast, south and west of New Orleans, but tropical storm force winds and storm surge will be felt in the Florida Panhandle. Lisa?
Thanks, Eben. The Philadelphia Police Commissioner just announcing an increased police presence tonight in anticipation of continued unrest over a deadly police shooting yesterday. It's under investigation. America is listening to Fox News.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, we're here to help make Medicare easier too. Walgreens is a preferred network pharmacy with many plans, including United Healthcare, which can mean copays as low as $0 for you. Talk to a Walgreens pharmacist today. Walgreens, we make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Walgreens accepts other plans.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening, who's able to hear more than what's being said, and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Cloudy skies stay with us all afternoon. It's kind of raw and chilly out there. 40 degrees for the high. Still a chance of a couple of showers, a couple of snow flurries, but no big deal. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies. 36 Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Rain developing late in the day. Warm it up to 58. Periods of rain. Wednesday night and Thursday, 55. But the sun is in place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
LakesideRenovationandDesign.com is the website. Been in business for 22 years, and they've done it the right way. They have very much so worked hard overtime at developing relationships with the folks that have them come out to their homes to do a transformation. They used to be Lakeside Exteriors, and they used to be, and still are, the go-to name in James Hardie siding. If you're looking to transform that exterior of your home, look no further than Lakeside Renovation and Design. They are so good at what they do. There were some customers and then some more customers and then some more customers who said, you did so good on the outside. We loved working with you. We loved the quality of your work. We love the people who you had out at our house. Can you do our kitchen? Can you do our bathroom? Can you put on our room addition? And they said, yeah, we can do that. So they changed their name, and they now are actively doing both exterior and interior transformations. And they're doing all of it with that lifetime workmanship warranty on top of the manufacturer's warranty. You can ask them about their 18 months interest-free financing options as well. Go online to LakesideRenovationandDesign.com.
I bought football tickets for my husband, and now I'm in a football bubble. All I see online are articles and ads about football. I hate feeling manipulated. I downloaded DuckDuckGo, and I saw a difference right away. Get privacy online with DuckDuckGo.
Another reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is a cash-out refinance? It's doing a cannonball from your porch.
Watch out!
That new car smell. a new college graduate in the family.
With a BA in business and a minor in medieval Renaissance poetry.
Reading the words, paid in full.
Woohoo! Did it!
At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it for our customers. Right now, rates are at a low 2.5%. Call 314-567-GOLD or visit us online at goldenoaklending.com and talk with an experienced local loan officer who will guide you every step of the way. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. 111 West Port Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. chrisbuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
97.1 FM Talk. Sean Hannity, Dave Glover, Annie Frey, Brian Kilmeade, Marc Cox. That's the lineup backward. Reminding you that you can rewind anytime at 971talk.com. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on a Saturday, and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not a married sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with us today. It is always our honor that you do so. So Election Day is 1 week away, and you've seen my voter guide, and a lot of folks who have seen my voter guide go, yeah, but Annie, what are you going to do about Missouri? And I'm like, well, I'm going to point you to Marc Cox, and he's on with us right now.
It's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. We can't stop. It's too dangerous.
I'm the best there is at what I do. And that's the bottom line.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. Happy ACB Day to you, Annie. How are you?
Justice Amy Coney Barrett. It's a day for people who love the Constitution to celebrate, and you'll notice the ones who don't love the Constitution not celebrating. I saw that you have your. I saw you have your voter guide out.
I do. I got that published on Friday, and we've been getting lots of good feedback from it. People are, anxious to understand a couple of big issues on the Missouri ballot statewide. Are these propositions, and we were getting a lot of questions about those. So
walk us through. Walk us through the highlights of that. Yeah, we would love to hear about that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, Amendment 1 is this issue basically about whether or not the offices statewide beyond the governor's office, which is currently, and the attorney general's office, should have term limits. And the legislature passed this and put it on the ballot. And I've had state legislators on my show trying to explain to me their reasoning for doing this. And quite frankly, nobody's convinced me what the need for it is. We don't currently have any Mike Madigan types in statewide office in Missouri.
Good luck getting term limits after you do have Mike Madigan types.
Well,
I'm not
that's
saying I have a dog in this fight, but yeah.
Maybe that's true, but we don't have any statewide office holders who've been hanging around for years and years and years and seem satisfied to just occupy that one position. Most of them either move on or they run for governor or something like that. And I'm a no on it because it seems to me like it's a solution looking for a problem. So I'm recommending a no on Amendment 1. Amendment 3 is a very different issue. It's the state legislature's fix to Clean Missouri, which passed in 2018. That was the Trojan horse bill that was outside dark money, spent millions of dollars convincing Missouri voters that they needed Clean Missouri. And they told them that it was lobbyist reform and it was all of this stuff. And, oh, by the way, it also is going to change the way you redistrict the state. Sort of like that was an afterthought, but in reality, that was the entire purpose of the bill from the beginning. Because, for Annie, when I moved to Missouri in 1993, this state was run by Democrats, had been for years. They controlled the legislature. They controlled on and off the governor's office, but not so much as the majority they'd had in the Missouri legislature for years. And that has completely flip-flopped in the past 25 years. Republicans are now a supermajority in the legislature here. And Clean Missouri came in, and this idea is that, pushed by people like George Soros, is that what we need is a state demographer appointed by the Missouri State Treasurer, a single person who would come in and redraw district lines to make them supposedly fair districts or 50-50 districts where a Republican would have just as good a chance of getting elected as a Democrat or vice versa. Think about that. You talk about gerrymandering. I mean, that's a nightmare. Pick a legislative district somewhere, I don't care, Lincoln County, St. Charles County, that is heavily Republican and try to make it 50-50. Or pick one in the city of St. Louis that's heavily Democrat and try to make it 50-50. You have to draw something that looks like the back end of a dog's leg. Voters in St. Louis might be in the same district with voters in Lincoln County. It's a nightmare. And for years, we've always redrawn our districts with a bipartisan commission. And Amendment 3 simply returns that portion of the law to the way it was. It even tightens lobbyist rules even more, but it returns us to a bipartisan commission for redistricting, which is going to be so important after this next census.
So you're a vote yes on 3?
I am a yes on 3. We need to return this to the way it was. This is nothing other than a Trojan horse to try to overturn the Republican majority in the legislature.
A no on 1 and a yes on 3. I'm looking through your candidates here, and the first one says President Donald J. Trump, and the bullet point says because you are not an idiot. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Are there any? Go ahead.
I've tried to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, that's pretty simple, straightforward. Tell us about any of the candidates that you want to highlight on this. Any races that you in particular want to make mention of for people who are listening right now?
Well, I would draw attention to CD1, Congressional District 1, simply because I've revised my information on there a little bit, Annie. Of course, that's the district where Cori Bush upset Lacey Clay.
Yeah, she wants to defund the Pentagon.
Correct. Yeah, and nobody wants to vote that I know of wants to vote for Cori Bush, although she has odds-on favorite in that district because Lacey Clay was elected there so many times and has never had a serious Republican contender in a long time. But Anthony Rogers was the Republican candidate that ran in the primary, or at least he was the person that ran as a Republican. Mm-hmm. And once he got the nomination, apparently local Republicans met him for the first time and decided that that's not the person they wanted to back. So since that happened,
after
since
he
the
got
primary,
the nomination, they met him for the first time.
after he got voted in the primary to be the Republican candidate, they all changed their minds, and they now want people to write in a gentleman named Martin Baker. So I put all that information in the voters' guide. Who the Republican primary winner was, who the Republican Party now would prefer that you vote for. As long as it's anybody but Cori Bush, I think we'd be better off, to be quite honest with you. And the other big ones are going to be the 2nd Congressional District. Ann Wagner is in a pretty good fight with Jill Shoup, who's a long-time, very, very liberal state senator in Missouri. They're desperate to overturn Congressional District 2. And the reason it's so important this time, I mean, we need to hold on to it for a couple of reasons. But after redistricting happens, after the census, CD2 is probably going to be redrawn a bit further west of where it is right now. So in other words, it's a little bit of a purple district. They're probably going to give some of that territory to Congressional District 1 and move Congressional District 2 a little bit further west. So that will be a more expected Republican district after this election cycle. But Ann Wagner is in a battle there with Jill Shoup to try to hang on to that.
Okay. I see Blaine Luketemeyer in District 3, Jason Smith in District 8. And then we get to the Missouri State offices, which Missouri does their state offices in presidential election years, and Illinois does theirs in the midterm year. So what any of these specific offices, governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, treasurer, attorney general, or any of the St. Louis County ones that you want to highlight specifically?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there are serious challengers to a lot of these Republican office holders right now at the statewide level. You know, I don't think anybody should take Mike Parson for granted, the governorship, because Nicole Galloway has been within 7 or 8 points in some of the polls that I've seen. I guess it's largely going to depend on turnout. But I mean, I would hope that people who are going to the polls to support the president are going to support those Republican office holders. I have not seen polls indicating any of them are in serious challenge in this particular cycle. I mean, the county executive race in St. Louis County is also on there. Sam Page, yeah, that's traditionally a Republican hasn't won that seat since the late 80s. It's been about a 60-40 vote in most elections, 60% going to the Democrat candidate, 40% to the Republican. This may be a year when that gets upset because Sam Page has hacked off a lot of St. Louis County voters who, irregardless of their party, Republican, Democrat, Independent, have seen their children impacted by his decisions on COVID restrictions. Either keeping them out of class to Zoom calls or keeping them off the athletic fields, and in many cases, maybe endangering their chance at an athletic scholarship, things like that. And although he's eased up on those restrictions a little bit, I think he's hacked off enough people. I see more yard signs in West St. Louis County for Paul Berry than I've seen for a Republican county executive in my memory. And if that holds true, Paul Berry might have a legitimate shot at upsetting Sam Page. I just hope people turn out and vote. That's going to be the key here.
Well, the Marc Cox Morning Show 2020 Missouri General Election Voters Guide is available at 971talk.com/Cox, and people can dive into it and compare their notes with yours there and do with it as they will. A reminder that my voter guide is available at 971talk.com/Annie, and it's also going to be pinned to the top of the Annie Frey Show Facebook page. And mine's a one-sheeter, and you can print it out and do whatever you want. Ryan, go ahead.
I appreciate that, Annie. And if you'll let me mention, tomorrow night we're going to do our final town hall on Facebook at about 6 o'clock, and I'm going to get Tim Jones and Gene Evans are going to join me. Potentially Chris Arps, although he's out of town right now, but I think I'm going to get him on there. And we're going to talk about the guide that I put out and get their individual take on some of these races.
Hey, Mark, before we let you go real quick, where are you on Trump's reelection chances? Just, without any emotion to it, what do you think is going to happen?
I still believe he's going to get reelected. I still believe that I've yet to see a poll that satisfies me that it has taken this enthusiasm gap for Joe Biden into effect. I just don't believe hatred is going to drive enough people to the polls to defeat him. But at the same time, it's a 3-state race. I mean, if this is going to hinge on turnout in 3 different states, and I still believe anything could happen, but I'm still confident that he's going to win re-election.
Well, we will be watching closely and intently next week as Election Day finally arrives. And boy, would I like to have an answer on Tuesday night. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're looking forward to seeing what happens. And I want to encourage people to go to 971talk.com/Cox to check out that Missouri voter guide that Marc has put together. It's very thorough, and you can definitely check it out and see what you think about it. Marc, thanks. Always great to talk to you. We'll be listening to you tomorrow morning, 5 to 9 a.m. right here on 97.1.
All right, Annie. Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Marc Cox, the Marc Cox Morning Show. Go follow him on his Facebook page as well. It's a lot of great information there on a regular basis. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back in just, let's get the vibe. We haven't taken a personal vibe here. We do this every once in a while. Katie, Ryan, and I weigh in on how we feel as though the tide is moving and how this is going. And we will see, how we feel this is going to turn out. You can give us a call as well, 314-241-9777, and tell us how you're feeling about this and maybe an indication as to why you feel that way. Quick break. We'll be back in just a minute with more.
Hold me, 'cause I'm free. Do what I want any old time.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Decision 2020 is here at 971talk.com/election. Brought to you by Hanson's Tree Service. Contact Hanson's Tree Service. Our work is tremendous. 97.1 FM Talk.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is paying cash for your clunkers in October. We'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards the new insulated door. $150 for your double garage door. $100 for a single door. Cash in on your old opener and entry door too. Free evening and weekend estimates. Our showroom is open. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
When duty called, Yinka Fality answered. A graduate of West Point, a veteran of 2 tours of duty in the Middle East, and a battle captain during Operation Enduring Freedom. Yinka Fality has fought to protect our freedom and our democracy. As our nation goes to vote during the coronavirus pandemic, Yinka is once again answering the call to serve and protect the bedrock of our democracy, our fundamental right to vote. Instead of helping voters safely cast their ballot, Jay Ashcroft is making it harder. Ashcroft opposes common sense reforms like expanding vote by mail and automatic voter registration. Now more than ever, we need leaders that will defend our right to vote, not make it harder. Yinka Fality will always answer the call to protect our democratic values. Vote for Yinka Fality for Secretary of State. Paid for by Democratic Association of Secretaries of State Garrett Webb, Treasurer. www.demsofstate.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Slim 180 is located in 6 different spots here in St. Louis, but they're online all the time at myslim180.com. If it's time to lose the weight, you need to give them a call. reach out to them, mention Annie when you do, and say, I'm looking to see what you can do for me. I'd like to sit down and have a free consultation with you and find out how you can help me specifically, because they're going to look at you and you're going to talk to them about what you want to do. And they're going to talk to you about what they offer, the traditional programs that they have there, the medically supervised HCG rapid weight loss program, which I did and lost over 40 pounds on, and their new quick start lipo-lean program. You can call them at 888-754-6111. That's 888-754-6111 and set up the appointment today. Don't postpone this any longer, because the weight, it's ready to come off, right? And you're going to be a healthier you. You're going to be a happier you. And that's really what it's all about. Ask them about their different plans. You can meet them in person, and they can also have counselors and doctors one-on-one in person or remotely working with you if that's what you prefer. 888-754-6111, online at myslim180.com.
Goodwill wants to help you celebrate the holidays at Six Flags. Donate your car to Goodwill. You'll get a tax receipt and 4 free tickets to Six Flags Holiday in the Park, featuring thrilling rides, tasty treats, and exciting family entertainment for the holiday season. Support a good cause. Donating is easy and towing is free. For more information or to donate online, visit mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Six Flags. Hurry while supplies last. Valid only for Holiday in the Park. Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill.
Hello, everybody. This is Sean Rimmerman. I'm your host every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk for We're Having a Senior Moment. Join us this Saturday as we talk with Stephen Toll. He's our specialist on Dementia Wise, that proprietary program that helps people who are dealing with those with any form of dementia. Again, join us this Saturday at 7 a.m. for We're Having a Senior Moment, and live to be the type.
Marc Cox, Brian Kilmeade, Annie Frey, Dave Glover, Sean Hannity. Listen on the radio.com app and rewind whenever you'd like. 97.1 FM Talk. Experience the rewind at radio.com.
Boca de gracia para mi patilla, arriba y arriba, y arriba y arriba, por mi cerebro. Yo no soy marinero,
But I speak to everyone when I say that the Barrett family has captured America's heart. It is highly fitting that Justice Barrett fills the seat of a true pioneer for women. It's Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Tonight, Justice Barrett becomes not only the 5th woman to serve on our nation's highest court, but the very first mother of school-aged children to become a Supreme Court justice. Very important.
No big deal. No big deal. How it's when you listen to how people are melting down about what she's going to do, it's like, oh, all of those things would be against her own self-interest. I wonder why she would be that stupid and how she could have gotten this far with being that stupid. Now, Katie, you've listened to the meltdown. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the show. We were talking about the scarymommy.com article that was telling you, like, listen, friend or family member, I know we need to have a talk, and I think you're different than the other Trump supporters. I think that if you listen really hard to me, that you will understand why you've gone astray, and I can fix you. This is basically the summation of it. Ryan, you have not heard this tweet yet. You're going to hear this live for the first time. I can't wait to get your reaction to it. This is one of the reactions to this is one of those people who, when something's going wrong, they say to themselves, I think I should go to my car. I think I should have a meltdown here now. And what would really put a bow on all of this, I should record it with my phone and post it for the world to see. I don't get this. This woman is not as screamy and cryy as some of the other ones, but she's teetering on the edge. Go ahead, Katie.
Amy Coney Barrett was just confirmed to the Supreme Court. So all those times I said I was queer, oh my God, you guys, that was so funny. And this necklace, a total joke. Oh my God, I was just kidding. All those times I said men don't deserve rights. Oh my God, men are so great. I need a husband to show me how to be an adult, how to function. I'm the dumb woman. No numbers. Everything's fine.
I just don't know, Ryan. You're a man. Explain it to us.
Mansplain it, please.
Well, what's going on here?
Break it down here.
Is
Simple
that
terms.
she's clearly projecting some of her very female emotions onto politics.
Here we go.
So I'm not sure that you could listen to her in this state. She's probably going to need to go home and calm down a bit.
Take a Midol.
Just chill.
Midol, yes.
That's what Ryan was
Get
saying.
a heating pad.
Katie, what's your reaction to that?
This is why I hate TikTok, because so many people are using that platform just for what we listen to be hysterical, because they think it's going to move mountains. They think that they're persuading someone to be in a full-fledged panic because a Supreme Court justice was confirmed. And TikTok has become like poison. Everybody needs to have every single opinion on that platform, and they're all coming from people. I know I'm going to sound rude, but they're all coming from very uneducated people that are extremely young, that are believing what they see in articles from CNN or that they hear from Jake Tapper, and they think it's 100% true. These people really think that she's going to overturn Roe versus Wade, or that she's going to be taking away rights from the LGBTQ community, or they're scared because she's pro-life. I'm like, have you read up on anything, any of her opinions? And they haven't. They're just so incredibly frustrated right now, and all they can do is make these hysterical videos. It's fear-mongering.
There's an element of sadness to it for me. If the converse of Amy Coney Barrett were put on the Supreme Court, if somebody like Ruth Bader Ginsburg were to be confirmed again, and I'll tell you this, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was asked to consider retiring and she didn't want to do it. And she said, I don't think someone like me could get confirmed to the Supreme Court again. That's why she put it off for so long. And if you're frustrated that Amy Coney Barrett is on the bench now, you have to ask yourself why Ruth Bader Ginsburg didn't step down when Obama could put someone in that would be the best case scenario. I don't know why she didn't do it. She felt as though that she was rolling the dice on Trump not getting reelected again, and then Joe Biden having somebody to appoint there. But it's mind-blowing to me that people could be so misinformed and made to be so scared. I mean, honestly, folks, your local politicians affect your life a lot more than these national politicians do. And I wonder if that maybe she can. I don't know this young woman, but can they name, like, do they know anybody who's on their county board, or do they know anybody? Do they know the mayor? Or do they know the people who are on the local school board? Do they know their local state representatives? I doubt it, because most people don't know that. Who's telling them that the sky is falling? Who's telling them that who has made this woman actually think that she should hysterically, publicly say she needs to get a man in her life now so he can explain things to her because women know numbers or something like that. Plus, she said Amy Coney Barrett. She doesn't even know who she's talking about.
Right.
Like, if you're gonna act like the sky is falling and that the world is ending over this, at least know enough of what you're talking about. Ryan, you've got children, not of social media age quite yet, but does social media, do you feel like social media is going to have a place in your kid's life, or have you kind of established this with your wife yet on how you're going to handle it?
Well, she's a teacher, and so she's a lot closer to kids who are of that age. So I kind of default to her on a lot of that stuff, but I don't know how you can completely avoid it now. I mean, even us, we're not really into social media for the same reason as Katie was just listening, like people get on TikTok, but we're in it for news, and that's where a lot of people get just normal news now. So I don't know how you can avoid social media if you're young. I mean, I get if you were older and you never adapted to it, but if you're coming up in the world now, yeah.
What if you never start?
Oh, what if you never start? Yeah, well, I mean, you
as a parent are going to get to determine this for your children.
Well, while they're in my house, yes. we may set some serious boundaries or may not let them use it at all. I don't know yet. Again, like my wife will kind of be able to handle most of that just because she's closer
Katie,
to the age
when
group,
you're looking at how children are, I don't know how much access you have to small kids who have social media or small kids who have devices. We were very strict on keeping devices out of the hands of our kids up until about maybe April, because when you quit going to school and they were stuck in the house with us, they had no socialization, and the only way that they were going to be able to socialize is for them to be able to pick up a phone and do a FaceTime or do a Messenger. But we're super, super on top of this to make sure that it doesn't go awry or that it doesn't become an obsession for them. But I mean, like you're talking about, more about these other social media platforms than a lot of us do. I mean, I feel like you begin to live an alternate reality, and I just see, gosh, I sent this video. I think I sent it to you, Katie, and I don't think I shared it because there was some language to it, but it's somebody doing a voiceover of people who are taking photos of themselves or setting up photo shoots of themselves in situations that make them seem, it's a virtue signaling type of a setting. Like there was one that showed this woman who's like probably 20 years old, and she's all fully made up, and she looks, great or whatever. And she goes up and asks to hold the drill that somebody is using to board up some of the destroyed shops in a city after a riot. And so she can take a photo of her as if she's participating in boarding up this building, but somebody else is there videoing her walk up, get this drill, hold it up to take a picture, and then take another picture, and then check it to make sure it's good, and then take another picture to get the right one, and then they walk away. They're not helping anything, but the photo is so important. I mean, what are these kids learning, Katie?
Oh, it's absolutely disgusting. It's so gross how infatuated we all are with ourselves. I'm like, what is even the point? And I've seen like people on TikTok. I don't have it, but when people share things on Twitter or on Facebook from TikTok, you're able to see those videos. I've seen videos of 13-year-olds doing some inappropriate dance moves to songs like, "We don't really like Joe Biden, but anybody but Trump is better, so vote for Joe Biden and make sure you vote." That and I mean, I'm butchering the song, but there is a viral video going on right now of people dancing to something, a chorus that's similar to what I just said. So that's where people are getting their information. And also, you don't want to be the person that, I say this phrase a lot, but it's so true, especially for like Gen Z and millennials. You don't want to be the person on the wrong side of history. So if you see 1,000 videos that day because you're scrolling TikTok or you're scrolling Facebook or you're scrolling Twitter, and your whole entire feed is dedicated to hating Donald Trump or hating Amy Coney Barrett, then you start to develop this complex. Like, I don't actually want to be the person that likes them, do I? I don't want to be the only person, a part of the minority that thinks that maybe these people are okay. So you do what everybody else does, and you're at the proper age and you're at the right time to be influenced in that way. That's how this is working. People aren't doing their own research.
You don't want, I think that phrase, "you don't want to be on the wrong side of history," is really super important. But never in our history before have young people been so compelled and so misinformed that their public opinion is needed. You know what I'm saying? Like the idea that you have to put it out for the world to see is just ridiculous. Like, I think about my first jobs. My very first job was working for PK's restaurant in Edwardsville. It's a delicious Italian restaurant. Started out as a gas station, turned into a nice Italian restaurant. It was like the nice Italian restaurant in Edwardsville. And I worked there as a busser, and I made $3 an hour. And I bussed tables as a 16. Like, as soon as I got a car, that's what I started doing. And there was never ever any understanding at that point in my life when I was making money and I could afford to have some extra things in my life, that my thoughts and opinions on really pretty much anything mattered. Like, you had your thoughts and opinions and stuff with your friends, the best Backstreet Boy, who was better in sync or Backstreet Boys, or, you know, maybe it was a different band or a different star or a different sports team or a different movie. But these were the things that were important to kids at this time. And even going into college, this idea of being woke to the world did not exist. And it's virtue signaling. It's like an accessory. It's something you put on yourself and you make sure that the world sees it. You put on a really awesome necklace that you want everybody to see. You put on your virtue and you do it on social media so that the whole world can see something about you. But Lord knows the understanding, the experience that has gone into those opinions is sometimes very shallow. The education that has gone into it has been very shallow. And it just seems to me like, boy, I am so glad I didn't document all of my really strong and bold opinions when I was that young.
Yes.
To have those served up to me. Like right now, for instance, Annie Frey, local radio show host, G-list celebrity, once said something crazy about Mariah Carey. And then they play it and I'm like, oh, I'm over with now. I mean, imagine if those were things that I was saying, like about Al Gore. I can't even imagine having hot takes on Al Gore and George Bush in 2000 that would like come up to bite me in the butt. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine it. But yet the young folks, it's not bad to be engaged. It's not bad to have an opinion. Even if it's an uninformed opinion, the fact that you care is a good first step. But we speak so loudly first, and then we quietly get educated later. And then the question is, do you evolve? I don't know that a lot of these kids are evolving. Hopefully, maybe they will. Let's take a quick break. Back in a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating over 50 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Are you registered and ready to vote? Find out and register if you need to at vote411.org. Don't miss the deadline. Have a plan to vote on November 3rd or know the deadlines if you're voting by mail. Vote, make it count. Go to vote411.org.
I feel like I'm being haunted by a pair of headphones. Everywhere I go is a creepy ad for headphones I looked at one time. I hate feeling like I'm being watched. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy with DuckDuckGo.
Since you've been spending more time at home, you may have been cleaning and reorganizing and decided it's time to part with some of the jewelry you never wear, or cash in some of those collectibles gathering dust. Bring your gold, silver, and diamonds to the all-new Jewels on Hampton. They're paying some of the highest prices on precious metals, coins, and memorabilia. Exclusive designs like Alfonso watches and thousands of other treasures await you at Jewels on Hampton. Come by and see the new jewelry displays that will wow you, and the wide variety and, most importantly, the price. During these times of caution, Jewels on Hampton is taking all the precautions and measures to be CDC compliant for your safety. Jewels on Hampton. So whether you need to cash in some of that old jewelry you don't need, or trying to find that perfect ring, necklace, or watch, you'll get the best prices on the all-new Jewels on Hampton, where they pay top dollar every day. 4506 Hampton in St. Louis, or online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law are there each and every step of the way when it comes time to lay out that estate plan. If you haven't done this yet, it's such a necessity. It's so important that this gets done and gets done in a time where you're not under an amount of duress or stress. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're looking to plan out your will, do it now while you don't have any extenuating life circumstances that are making this more emotional and more difficult for you. Reach out to Rudy Beck and Jay Lennox and Carolyn Diker at Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law and ask them for a free consultation. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you do. Here's the number. Put this in your phone and give them a call when it's convenient for you. Just put the phone number in and save it as Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law. 636-946-7899. 636-946-7899. You are one phone call away from that extra sigh of relief of having this taken care of and having it done your way. Learn more online at beckelderlaw.com.
With mortgage rates at historic lows and homes selling with multiple offers,
Why would you ever pay more than 4? I'm Christina Straight. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. 441 all fours.
Straight Realty has sold over $250 million in the St. Louis area. No matter who you are, if saving money and commissions is important to you, then call me. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. 314-441 all fours.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hey friends, it's Annie, and I've been in touch with the team here at Lakeside Renovation and Design. As an essential business, these guys continue to work and ensure their homeowners are being taken care of. They do all of this while practicing safe social distancing and following all of the proper guidelines to keep a safe work environment. Many people are concerned with inviting others into their home at this time, which is why they've begun virtual appointments. If you need new siding, new windows, or even decks, porches, or screened rooms, they can get measurements from the outside and put a bid together just for you while keeping themselves and your family safe. 636-978-5000, lakesidерenovationanddesign.com.
We elect our representatives to vote on behalf of our wants and needs. Districts are created to serve the communities in which we live. Amendment 3 protects our communities. If Amendment 3 fails, then next year districts will be redrawn to include half Republican and half Democrat voters, regardless of their geographic location. St. Charles County could be paired with Kansas City, St. Louis County with Lincoln or Warren County. Do you want your representative to live in Kansas City? If not, vote yes on Amendment 3, paid for by the St. Charles County Republican Central Committee. Mike Summer, Treasurer.
The Dave Glover Show.
No, I think no one should want to be a congressperson for any reason other than service. They shouldn't be making a lot of money, and they certainly shouldn't be able to insider trade, which they can now do again legally.
Weekdays at 3 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Yesterday when I mentioned that there was water on the moon, Ryan, you got real excited about that.
Yeah, well, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's one of those things, though, that you're like, really? You just discovered this? Because I don't think it just showed up, but okay.
Is it new water?
Yeah.
Where's it been? I think that's a bigger story than the water, is that it just showed up. And it's on the, didn't they say it was on the sunlit side of the moon?
I thought they said it was on one of the poles, but I'd have to look again.
Oh, shush. Poles?
I mentioned poles and I didn't even know it.
I did on purpose.
I mean, speaking of which, we could talk about that.
Well, I don't have the intro up. Katie can find it and we can talk about it. You can't talk about polls unless we play the polls intro. I'm watching a lot. I saw this Real Clear Politics story yesterday, and it said, no, really, don't pay attention to early voting data. So I'm more interested in polls than I am in early voting data. I think early voting data is duping a lot of people out there, and I don't want to get too ahead of that. But if you've got some polls that you want to talk about.
Well, I mean, we always could.
Sounds like we are. Katie's got her finger on the button.
Polls.
Well, it's interesting to see that there are some states that seem to be tightening. I think you probably have heard this a little bit already, but Texas, Florida, Georgia, and Pennsylvania all seem to be moving in the direction of President Trump. We don't know for sure because
did you see the Jill Biden she was talking in front of a podium and the Joe Biden sign just like slowly fell off of the podium?
No, I didn't see that.
I'll find it and show it to you folks if you're watching this on. Okay, sorry. I just as you talk about the polls tightening, I just think of that sign just kind of like hanging there for a second and then just going falling onto the ground. It's pretty cool.
Well, it's the interesting thing about the polls this year is that if President Trump wins, we're talking about the possible collapse of an entire industry at this point, because, you know, we've all seen the polls that some of them, just like in 2016, had Hillary Clinton up by 16, 14 points a few weeks ahead of time. We've seen some of those for Biden, too, which means that in 2016, we all kind of said, well, they were off because this was such a weird year. It's just never happened before. That defense is gone if President Trump wins again. So we're talking about now, if he wins, an entire industry of polling that has clearly just been taken over, like the media, by leftist news organizations, which is where a lot of these are attached to. And the whole thing is going to come crashing down. At least you would hope that it would, because their integrity and their reliability would be gone.
How much does it matter, Ryan, if something like that system is taken down? So if Trump wins again, how much does it matter if that system of polling is taken off the map?
Well, I mean, there's obviously more important things that would happen to the country if the president won than the polling industry. But for those of us who like to watch it, and, you know, at this point, I think everybody who's listening right now is interested to know what they're saying. You know, they impact the race in that they shape what people think about what's going to happen. And if that all goes away or has to dramatically change, that, you know, especially if Trump wins, that's a good thing, because all we're looking for with polls is data. We just want to know what's actually happening out there. We don't want to be controlled.
But in many cases, any polls that you're reading right now, do you know who they're polling? Is it registered voters or likely voters?
Most of them at this point are likely voters. Some are still registered.
Because it seems as though, in my estimation, it's been hard to find ones that are likely voters. Those are the ones that are more accurate. Registered voters, when you're polling registered voters, I mean, just because you're a registered voter does not mean that you're likely to vote. The likely voters, those are the polls that in 2016 set us up to actually know a little bit of something and indicated a bit of what is going to actually come about in the election, which is why so many people were so disappointed. And I really do believe that we live in such an agenda-driven time that the mainstream media doesn't want to do a likely voter poll if it doesn't look good for their guy. Right. They don't want you to know that. And which is why I hate polls so much, because they're so misleading. And you listen, folks, if all of these polls, I saw just earlier today, 94% chance that President Trump wins the President Biden wins the Electoral College. 94%. If you're the person who's writing that scary mommy article from before, saying that you're trying to take your loved one's head into the palms of your hands and look them straight in the eye and really get through to them how drastically terrible of a decision they're making, and how, no, really, I know there's a good person inside of you. You can't vote for Trump. And you're like, they're trying to shake you into submission. And they're seeing polls that say 94% chance that Joe Biden wins. If Donald Trump wins, these people are going to be beside themselves again. I mean, you're setting up a scenario where people are being lied to over and over and over again. And the disgusting part about this is that the reason they're being lied to is because the people who are pushing those polls are trying to move people. They're trying to do something with it. They're trying to affect an outcome with the way that they are presenting information. And you can manipulate this poll information however you want, which is why when I hear a poll that goes in the favor that I want it to be, I'm almost mad at it. I'm like, don't try to dupe me. I don't need to feel good right now. I don't need your warm, cozy embrace of a poll that makes me feel like it's going to head in the direction I want. I can handle this. I'm tough. I'm strong. It makes me nervous to hear that, because I don't want somebody to be telling me that it is going in the direction I want to be duped. Because, man, if you go back and you look at 2016, the night of the election, and you see the shock and the stunning outcome on the faces of those Hillary supporters, they were in complete disbelief. And Hillary Clinton herself is still in disbelief. They must have told her a lot of things that she wanted to hear along the way as well. I've got up on our Facebook Live right now, facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. We are like within less than 200 likes of 14,000, which is really super exciting. So if you haven't liked the Facebook page and you have a like to spare and you can be the one who pushes us over 14,000, that would be super awesome. The Annie Frey YouTube page also streaming, but you guys can see this right now. This is a Joe Biden event, and he first of all, they have him walk down this really long stone staircase with no railing, which I feel like is maybe a cognitive test in and of itself. This is dangerous. Like, if I were in heels, I wouldn't want to be walking down this. You see what I'm saying, Katie? Like,
oh yeah.
And then you walk into some grass, and he walks out, and they've got all of their white chairs in their circles. But this is not overwhelming. This is pretty underwhelming, the amount of people who are here. And, they got the camera set up. The point for him is to be able to speak to the people. And, they've said that they don't want to have large gatherings. They don't think it's safe. That's, I think, their excuse.
Conveniently,
but you compare polls that favor Biden and Trump, and you compare this versus what we see at these Trump rallies. Ryan, you're obsessed with polls. Do the rallies speak more to you than the polls, or do you think that they just need to both be taken in context?
I would have said no in 2016. I would have said, nah, the rallies don't matter as much. But after seeing 2016 and what polling said and what actually happened, this year I'm taking them much more seriously, which is why the contrast between Biden's and Trump's is so stark, because you couldn't have different looking events than these two guys are having right now.
Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable.
With what happened?
There's nothing exciting about Joe Biden.
No, there's like 24 people. I'm surprised they even are taking wide shots of those events.
Me
anymore.
too.
Because everybody knows that they look terrible. I mean, you got Bon Jovi turning out a lower crowd for Joe Biden than when he actually just plays a normal concert.
This video is from Pat Ward, who is a Fox News producer covering the 2020 election with Peter Doocy. So this is, I guess, Peter Doocy's producer. So that's probably why. Peter Doocy, he better be assigned to the White House press corps if Joe Biden wins the election, because Joe Biden detests Peter Doocy. Like, Peter Doocy might be on some most wanted list if Joe Biden gets elected to the office of the presidency, because those two do not get along very well. And it seems as though Peter Doocy enjoys every minute of it. All right, quick break. When we come back, what do we have, Katie? I don't have much.
Jim Carafano.
Oh, yes.
At 2:07, and then 2:26, we have Matt Walsh joining us.
Very, very excited to talk to Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh will be joining me Thursday in St. Charles, and hoping that you are going to be there to attend it. You can check out where we're going to be. Stick around at 2:26, and we'll tell you all about it. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Come and take me. Here I am, baby. Come on, take
This is the Annie Frey Show.
How do you know when someone is in the extreme? Would you know? For State Senator Jill Shoup, it's easy to tell. Maybe it's because she voted against a constitutional amendment making it easier to prosecute child sex offenders. Prosecutors argued it would be a powerful tool to go after sexual predators who target innocent children. And voters passed it overwhelmingly, with more than 70% of the vote. But Jill Shoup voted no. And when she had the chance, Shoup voted against bipartisan legislation requiring the state to report illegal immigrant sex offenders to federal authorities. Each time she voted no, who was Jill Shoup protecting? Maybe it's hard to tell if someone is in the extreme, but when it comes to Jill Shoup, it's pretty easy. You just look at her record. NRCC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.nrcc.org.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Fasten your seatbelts, folks. We'll be prepared for takeoff.
Limu, how cool is this? Your first time flying. Oh, I didn't mean... Listen, Limu, you might not be able to fly, but you do something even cooler. You tell strangers that Liberty Mutual customizes their car insurance so they only pay for what they need.
Sir, do you have a certificate for your service bird?
Liberty, 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 liberty. Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
I like a bed that's really firm.
I need something a little softer than that.
Rest easy. With the Sleep Number 360 smart bed, you can both adjust your comfort with your Sleep Number setting.
Can it really help me fall asleep faster?
Yes, by gently warming your feet.
Okay, but can it help keep us asleep?
It senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you effortlessly comfortable. Sleep Number, proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. And now, during our Veterans Day sale, save $1,000 on the Queen Sleep Number 360 Special Edition smart bed, now $17.99. Only for a limited time. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. With all the bad news out there, it's easy to miss the good news. Mortgage rates are at historic lows, making now a great time to buy or refinance a home. My customers are locking in the best rates in a generation. Now is the time to use the equity in your home to cash out for a remodel, pay off high-interest credit card debt, or rid yourself of the dreaded PMI. During these volatile times, you need an experienced local loan officer working for you. Call me, Michael Mohan, at 314-336-6050. I'm here in St. Louis, and when you call, you talk to me. Whether you are purchasing or refinancing, I want to help you save money on your home loan. Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage, 314-336-6050. Online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, NMLS 250353.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
1 week to go. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A hectic pace of campaigning and voting continues in the countdown to Election Day.
President Trump holding 3 campaign rallies today in Lansing, Michigan, in West Salem, Wisconsin, and in Omaha, Nebraska, the largest city in Nebraska's 2nd congressional district.
Nebraska 1, I'm way up. But Nebraska 2, I'd like to get it. And it's something that a lot of Republicans don't get.
Former Vice President Joe Biden, meanwhile, in the battleground state of Florida today and holding 2 campaign events in Georgia, a state that hasn't voted for a Democrat for president since 1992. In Washington, John Decker, Fox News.
Also in Florida, former President Barack Obama slamming President Trump's record, especially on COVID.
If he had been focused on COVID from the beginning, cases wouldn't be reaching new record highs across the country this week.
He's urging people not to wait to vote, especially if they're using absentee ballots. The president, in a tweet, calling his predecessor's event a no-crowd fake speech for Joe Biden. Over 65 million Americans have already early voted. An increased police presence tonight in Philadelphia as the police commissioner and Mayor Jim Kenney prepare for more possible unrest after a black man was shot and killed by officers yesterday when police say he refused repeated demands to drop a knife. Multiple arrests were made, officers injured during the protests that followed.
I know that many Philadelphians are feeling frustrated and outraged following yesterday's tragic incident. I fully support your First Amendment rights to protest, but we also want to ensure that our communities are not further hurt as a result.
Protesters question why deadly force was used. America is listening to Fox News.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, the question is whether you have the right Medicare plan. And we're here to help make that easier too. Walgreens can save you money and peace of mind with copays as low as $0. Visit walgreens.com/Medicare today to see how. Walgreens. We make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy.
What do you get when you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor? You get someone who understands there's an art to listening. Who's able to hear more than what's being said and can provide tailored small business solutions that make you feel truly heard.
I understand. Let's get started.
For advice on everything from laptops to the cloud and solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Cloudy skies stay with us all afternoon. It's kind of raw and chilly out there. 40 degrees for the high. Still a chance of a couple of showers, a couple of snow flurries, but no big deal. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies. 36 Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Rain developing late in the day, warming up to 58. Periods of rain Wednesday night and Thursday, 55. But the sun is in place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a right fit for you. And check out the podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane.
Our Congressman Blaine Muchtemeyer still believes in our America, not a radical shift to failed socialism. Blaine knows the path to a faster economic recovery and higher wages is what worked for our families before the shutdowns.
less regulations, lower taxes, and you saw the economy rebound at historic pace. We wound up with 1.2 million more jobs than we had people to fill them.
And Blaine Luetkemeyer knows the real China.
They've proven that they can't be trusted on trade. Militarily, I really don't think that we need to trust them on anything anymore.
And Blaine wants to bring those China supply lines back home to create high-paying jobs here.
There's an opportunity there for a lot of the small businesses in my district to take on additional manufacturing loads. There's an opportunity to bring back more jobs.
And Blaine Luetkemeyer stands with us on our side for law and order, for good-paying jobs, and for America's future.
I'm Blaine Luetkemeyer, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Blaine for Congress.
Selecting a financial advisor is one of the most important decisions you will make heading into retirement. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money every Saturday morning at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Choosing a financial advisor is a critical step in planning for your retirement. You want to find an advisor you can trust is working in your best interest with the experience to do the job well. Providing guidance solely in your best interest is foundational to our team's approach. And with over 90 years of combined experience, you can have confidence we have the depth of knowledge to help you navigate important financial decisions. If you're retiring in the next 5 years or need a second opinion on your current plan, contact us today for a free consultation. To schedule your free retirement planning consultation, contact us at bobstockdale.com. That's bobstockdale.com. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
2019 pricing. That means in just about everything you do, the price goes up a little bit the next year. Things cost more. This year, Darren at Rhino Shield is holding his prices to last year's levels because he knows people are dealing with different issues during this whole pandemic. If you were thinking about getting the outside of your house painted, don't. Get it Rhino Shield. Have a Rhino Shield put on the outside of it. This is this exterior ceramic coating. So don't wait. Get on the list now, right? Get it done while the getting is good, and you don't have to worry about the outside of your house or your business or your condo or your church. Go to 877-25rhino.com. Darren's got a lot of pictures, before and after pictures of the hundreds and hundreds of properties in the greater St. Louis area that he's gone out and put this outstanding product on. You'll be glad you did, and then you get a 25-year warranty. 877-25rhino or 877-25rhino.com.
You can ask your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk for information with perspective. Although you don't have to say all the tagline stuff. Just say, play 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
More unrest last night in Philadelphia as we watched a clash between protesters and police, with police being injured in the wake of, civil unrest. And it's come to this once again. And we as Americans sit and watch. And I guess at this point, you just kind of wonder, where's the next place going to be? Is it going to be near my home? And how is any of this ever going to stop? Well, I want to talk to our friend Jim Carafano a bit about this. He's a leading expert in national security and also foreign policy at Heritage Foundation. And Jim, you've been watching these riots as they've taken place across the country over the course of this entire summer, leading up to even last night. Are you surprised that they're still breaking out in the evenings in our big cities?
No, because it's almost formulaic now. Is there's an incident and that
either becomes an excuse or an excuse to parachute a bunch of people in and start a riot. So we really have kind of two categories of public disturbances here. One is kind of the Seattle, Portland, Chicago's of the world, where literally you have permissive government, rogue prosecutors that created this space really to normalize this, and essentially you have an ongoing campaign, kind of like the siege of Troy. And then you have places like kind of Kenosha, Wisconsin, where something happens, everybody parachutes in, they burn the city to the ground. Then, of course, the city doesn't really want them there. Police crack down, law enforcement steps in, they go away and they move on. So it's this distinction between the permissive environment and kind of the target of opportunity, but it is going to continue as long as we allow the organizations that sponsor and foment this to continue to support that, and as long as politicians and media are willing to ignore or enable the violence.
Jim Carafano, in those three cities that you just mentioned just now, Chicago, Portland, and Seattle, in those permissive environments, has the violence ever really completely gone away, or is it still happening now?
I think it's still ongoing, particularly in Portland, where it's almost like habitual, but it's very, very targeted. They get together and they decide, whose life are we going to make miserable tonight?
Yeah, it seems as though that there isn't a solution to the problem for what is being disrupted over how, could you show up and hand these people something that they want and cause this unrest to go away? I mean, that seems laughable almost.
Well, one, I think, is if you prosecute people, a lot of this stops. We saw this, for example, where there was that real rash of going after statues, and then the federal government came out and said federal statute, 10 years in prison, started prosecuting people. Like that dried up in a New York minute. So certainly holding people accountable, that is a big deterrent. I think having public officials and law enforcement be on the same sheet of music and willing to protect the citizens in their city, that's another big deterrent. So yeah, I do think there are ways that you can, not make it like coming to a theater near you. You can actually say, not in my city, this isn't going to happen.
So what exactly is going to happen in Philadelphia? I mean, I'm not saying that you're going to know.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I don't track every city individually, and I don't know how the leadership of Philadelphia is going to come down on this. But I can tell you this: I know what works and what doesn't. I know the difference between a Kenosha and a Portland.
Yeah, I think that the action that was taken, the president has said multiple times that he is willing to send help. All they need to do is ask. What is the process that, because everybody can sit behind a camera and say, well, this person's not doing their job and this person's not showing up to do their job. The president is saying, I'll send help. They just need to ask. I can't do it unless they ask. And then you see some of these mayors who say, we don't want your kind here, but then the problems persist.
That's right. And then, as we saw in Kenosha, they did ask for assistance, and they brought in both additional law enforcement from outside communities, and they brought in the National Guard, and they pretty much shut everything down. And you saw a situation. I don't remember if it was Portland or Seattle, where they actually went out to other law enforcement communities, agencies, surrounding communities, and said, "Come and help us." And they said, "No, we're not going to help you. You don't prosecute anybody you arrest. You don't back up the police in your thing. We're not going to come and help you. You're on your own, dude." So it really, the way our system is structured, and rightly so, I would say this, because power is devolved down to the community because the community is responsible for itself. As local officials turn to the state and ask for assistance, if the state cannot provide it, the state turns to the federal government, and then the federal government provides that assistance. And for these communities that are facing rioting and that kind of stuff, you bet there's plenty of willingness for the federal government to provide resources if the state and local communities need them. That could be additional law enforcement. It could be military support to protect facilities and property. So it's there if people ask for it.
I want to ask you, shift gears a little bit here, speaking with Jim Carafano with the Heritage Foundation about some conversation that came up during the debate when we move back to the 2016 campaigns, immigration was a huge topic. Chance of build that wall were a platform, a keystone of President Trump's campaign for president. We haven't heard much about immigration lately, really at all. And the president is still invested in time and money in building a wall and continuing that. But when you listen to the contrast of what the alternative would offer us going forward, if Joe Biden were to get elected, you start hearing a lot about illegal aliens and amnesty and the potential of what could happen with a Biden presidency. I'm curious your thoughts on this issue specifically.
It's not because it's not a big issue. It actually, the reason why they aren't talking about it is because they're diametrically opposed on this issue. Their policies are literally polar opposites. But what that means is the people that support them, they're with them, and the people that don't, they're not going to change anybody's minds. So what the candidates has found is if you're going after the other side of the middle, this isn't the issue to talk to them about. We actually saw that in the third debate where Biden actually said, "I will give amnesty to everybody that's here illegally." Well, that immediately created a firestorm that actually created lots of problems for him. First of all, a bunch of Yahoo liberals got on and said, because Trump talked about coyotes, and they actually thought they were talking about animals dragging people across the border, and they weren't even smart enough to know that coyote is a human trafficker that works for a cartel. But just saying, "I'll give everybody amnesty," that is basically advertising for the cartels. They're going to recruit tens of thousands of people who give them tens of millions of dollars to rush the border because they think maybe they'll get here and get amnesty. And then once the people get across, then the son of fentanyl and everything else. That immediately created a massive backlash and gave people a reason not to vote for the candidate. So, yeah, I just think that the candidates really don't talk about it, because there's no votes to be gotten there. Everybody is where they are in this. And it's incredible. I've in my 25 years, believe what you want, vote for who you want for, I don't care. But in my 25 years of doing this, I have never seen two candidates so completely polar opposite on what they would do in immigration and border security. Literally night and day.
Jim Carafano is a leading expert in national security and foreign policy at Heritage. Speaking of that debate, Jim, President Trump touted his record on this. And of course, everybody likes to look at the wall and how much wall has been built and how much hasn't been built and how much has been spent on it. But he's done a lot of other things that he was pointing to. What exactly what does he like to say, "This is what I've done for immigration"?
Well, so first of all, he's cooperated with Mexico and Central America to really help stem the flow of illegal migration, which hurts their countries as well. So that's a big part of it. The second thing, of course, he has built, it would be up to 400 miles and more by the end of the year, which really covers the main smuggling corridors. That helps a lot. He's really unleashed law enforcement to go after the cartels. That's helped a lot. He's really kind of taken away all the loopholes. The reason, like, just jump over the wall, and as soon as you get in, they've got to let you go in the United States. So, we were having people coming claiming refugee status when like 99% of them were fraudulent or not verified claims. So he's taken a lot of the loopholes away. And of course, they've been deporting people, and we're actually deporting more people than come into the country. So he's the reason why he can do this and why Obama or Bush couldn't is they all wanted a deal. And it was, well, we're not going to do anything unless we get a deal. And Trump said, fine, don't do a deal. I'm just going to go and enforce the laws on the books. And but just by doing that, he's really been effective at his policies. Now, you may like them or you may hate them. You cannot argue they're not incredibly effective over the last 4 years.
Let me ask you one last question before we let you go, Jim. When the president was talking about how, the catch and release thing, that was kind of a little bit of a blip there in that conversation, suggesting that we catch people, we tell them, here's your court date, you come back. Trump said most of them don't come back, and Joe Biden said they do come back. What's the truth on that? Or if we release somebody, do they?
Here's what the truth is. There are a lot of people that don't show up for their hearings. There are a lot of people that actually do show up for their hearings. But, and this is the big but that Joe Biden didn't mention, when their hearing is over and the order is to be deported, they don't show up for deportation. So virtually nobody who goes through the process and is ordered deported voluntarily shows up to be deported.
Yeah.
So yeah, literally, if you are catch and released in the United States, that's the get out of jail free card, never go home, because then they got to go find you, round you up, and send you out.
Well, Jim Carafano, we will be speaking to you next week, one day before Election Day gets here, and a lot at stake for sure. But these are all important issues that need to be discussed, and we're always grateful to have you on with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Jim Carafano with the Heritage Foundation. They're expert in national security and in foreign policy as well. Good to have him on, and the conversations he brings. I always appreciate them because they're things that we know are important, but he knows a lot more about them, at least, than I do. So having him on here to talk about that is helpful. Gets you straight, right? Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Matt Walsh is going to join us. Excited to talk about this event coming up, the Vitae Foundation Thursday. Matt Walsh is a writer and a blogger and host of the Matt Walsh Show on the Daily Wire, Monday through Friday. He calls us, and we are going to talk to him about, I guess, we're going to talk about the pro-life issue that he's coming to town to discuss, but we're also going to talk to him about the election. And I'm going to ask him about the wokeness of folks these days and the righteousness that we encounter on a daily basis, because he's really good at cutting straight to the chase, folks. Super good at it. Matt Walsh, when we come back.
So go ahead and walk, and I start running.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I'm coming.
Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
These late nights keeping me up. I hear the sun shines bright in Paris and Rome.
Hey, it's Andy Cohen, here to wish the Humane Society of Missouri a happy 150th birthday. That's 150 years of second chances and forever homes for animals in need. Help us make more happy tales and donate today at hsmo.org.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. If your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant healthcare program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
When duty called, Yinka Fality answered. A graduate of West Point, a veteran of 2 tours of duty in the Middle East, and a battle captain during Operation Enduring Freedom. Yinka Fality has fought to protect our freedom and our democracy. As our nation goes to vote during the coronavirus pandemic, Yinka is once again answering the call to serve and protect the bedrock of our democracy, our fundamental right to vote. Instead of helping voters safely cast their ballot, Jay Ashcroft is making it harder. Ashcroft opposes common sense reforms like expanding vote by mail and automatic voter registration. Now more than ever, we need leaders that will defend our right to vote, not make it harder. Yinka Fality will always answer the call to protect our democratic values. Vote for Yinka Fality for Secretary of State. Paid for by Democratic Association of Secretaries of State Garrett Webb, Treasurer. www.demsofstate.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Attention St. Louis homeowners. Are you looking to sell your house without all the stress? Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can buy your house cash and close on your timeline. No commissions, no repairs, no appraisals, no showings, no headache. Call Chris now, 314-782-7000, or go online to chrisbuysHomesSTL.com to get a free no-obligation cash offer for your house. Behind on payments? The tenant stopped paying the rent? The house needs too many repairs? Not a problem. Chris buys houses in any condition and deals with any situation. There's a reason why Chris Buys Homes is the most trusted home buyer in St. Louis. Go online to get your offer today. ChrisBuysHomesSTL.com or call 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
Hey there, it's Billy with Inside Out Tax. I used to work for the IRS and I help people every day get to the bottom of their tax problems. If you're being inundated through the mail, if you've had someone from the IRS show up at your home or place of work, then give me a call to set up a free 30-minute consultation at 636-495-5700. That's 636-495-5700. Or reach out to us through our website at InsideOutTax.com.
It's cash for clunkers when you upgrade with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. We'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards the new insulated door. What are your old clunkers worth? $150 for a double garage door, $100 for a single door. Cash in on your old opener and entry door too. Don't miss Cash for Clunkers in October at Overhead Door. Trusted by homeowners in St. Louis since 1926. To schedule your free estimate, call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Has this ever happened to you? I wasn't feeling great, so I searched my symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by really uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal information is being bought and sold. I got DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Marc Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Marc Cox Morning Show.
The commute is making a comeback, and dependable traffic is here to get you there. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Donald Trump in Lansing, Michigan. Just imagine if they had to have circles for all those people, like Joe Biden's. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, not possible, I don't think.
Spread over like 3 or 4 airplane runways.
Can we try that? That would be awesome. He could do.
Do you guys like his new tactic right now, using like Joe Biden's words against him and just putting it on a projector?
Yes.
I just wonder why nobody done that. Why no campaign had been doing that before?
Because it's expensive.
Yeah,
and it's complicated. And when you go to play the tape and the tape doesn't play, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. You don't want to see that happen. That's something that would happen at a Joe Biden rally or a Jill Biden rally when the Biden-Harris placard on the front of the podium just like slowly. I mean, it was like comical. Jill Biden's up there and she's delivering her speech and the placard falls just from one side and then it goes back and forth 2 or 3 times just from a corner and then it just falls.
I gotta see this now.
Oh gosh, I need to find it. I mean, it's it's just not something you want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like you
don't want that to happen.
You don't want even if it happens to somebody who you're rooting against. It's like I want to be able to beat them without having to have things like that take place. But I'm glad it happened to them and not to my team.
Right.
So I've got this Jim Carafano thing still up here. He's still not with us. Have you guys made holiday plans? Have you made Thanksgiving plans?
I have.
Have you made Halloween plans?
I have. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are you going to trick or treat, Katie?
I am, guys. I'm going around from house to house. Everybody better have the king size candy bars, or you're not getting a joke. Just kidding. I'm gonna see a couple friends. That's kind of how I'm. It's more of like a small group type of deal. I'm still young and hip, so usually I go to some type of Halloween party.
What are you gonna dress up as? Sexy radio producer.
Yes, that's me. This
Put
is
some
my
ears
first.
on.
This is so stupid that I'm excited about this, but David refuses to do couples costumes. Like he is not about it.
David.
He
you
does
just
not like it.
leveled up in my book.
So, and like not at all. And he only started dressing up for Halloween like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And it's
What?
yeah.
What about when he was a child?
Well, yeah, but like as an adult, you know, he never really did that. And the first costume that I think I remember him wearing was a wizard costume because it came with a really cool beard. This year, I know I'm really
That's a lot of
exposing,
info.
I'm exposing David, but I'm so thrilled because this year we watched this Netflix series called Cobra Kai, which is it's the sequel to The Karate Kid. So that we're going to be people from the dojos of Cobra Kai. And I'm like, okay, David, you said yes to this.
How many people will be at said gathering?
10, maybe 10, but it's going to be inside too. And so that's kind of where we're like, okay, we do want to do it as a limited kind of deal.
Ryan, are you and your wife, Katie, are you guys couples costume people?
Only when
Sounds
she
like you might be.
plans it. I can't.
Come on,
put that
Ryan.
together. Well, here's the deal. Are we dressing up on this show this year?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Okay. Well, then I won't give away what we're going to be for Halloween.
I guess it's not up to me. It's up to Andy. Andy, what do you think?
Last year we wore PJs. We
It's
wore
true.
onesies. I was a momster.
And you won.
And you were... I won.
You
There was
did.
nothing to win.
Well, Tony Colombo's opinion is how you won. And he
really?
doesn't give props to people often, but he said
Well,
that
he
your
just
costume is
picked
great.
me to win because he gets bent out of shape every time you win everything. So that's not even really accurate or fair. It's like the polls that we keep seeing. You got to look and see who the source of the people participating in said poll actually are. So I wore the Momster costume. You wore a Harry Potter costume.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan, did you wear anything?
Yeah.
You were a graduation.
I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
a graduate because I found my old cap and gown.
But you brought in a bag of costumes or something.
I?
Wigs. It was a bag of wigs.
Oh, yeah, I got my bag of wigs. It's a big old hockey bag, too. It's not a small bag.
Mhm.
A lot of wigs in that bag.
Unbelievable.
Miss the wigs.
I'll tell you, I'll give you a hint. My costume this year does not involve, excuse me, a wig at all. It is a legit costume.
Who said to you, or how did you come to choose this costume? Were you told that you needed to wear this costume?
I'll do an impression and you can tell me if you can pick up on who it is. I found the costume at a garage sale.
Is it
Mr.
William Shatner?
Yes.
Oh, I was
You got
going to
it.
say Ace Ventura.
It was
Doing-
basically Jim Carrey doing William Shatner, but it is a Captain Kirk outfit. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I will also tell you that the person who originally wore this outfit
That's not
apparently
the answer to my question.
was
My
very,
question
very
was
large.
The question was, how did you come to be this character? Were you told to be this character, or were you like, I cannot wait to be Captain Kirk?
Oh, I saw it here's how it came about. I went to a garage sale.
Here's another
And I
story.
saw it for $5 and I thought, there's my Halloween.
Nice.
Yeah.
It hasn't occurred to me one time in the past 25 years that I need to like come up with a costume for Halloween. Like I can't imagine seeing an adult costume and being like, oh, there's my Halloween costume for this year. Like
Mhm.
that just sounds funny to me.
That
how you end up
fits
wearing a
your
cap and gown.
personality. Mm-hmm. What about the kids? What are the kids going to
Well,
be?
the
Haven't done
problem
anything with the
as-
children yet. I mean, it's today's the 27th. So isn't it Saturday?
Yep.
Is it Friday or Saturday? We weren't sure if we were going to go trick-or-treating.
Mm-hmm.
So we are looking at the possibility of doing it. And I honestly have gotten to the point where I wanted to wait and see what the weather was going to be like. And I was going to tell my kids, you know what we can do this year? We will watch a movie and I'll go to the store. I'll take you to the store and you can buy any bag of candy that you want. And I'll buy each of them a bag, which will cost me less than the costumes that barely anybody is going to see anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like I'm trying not to be like so practical about this that I steal joy from my kids that they deserve to have on Halloween. But if it's going to be like cold and rainy, I'll buy them 2 bags of candy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we were doing the same thing. We didn't know if Halloween was going to happen this year, so we planned a trip to Disney World that day.
That's what we're doing.
Specifically to be gone over the election, which was the real kicker here.
Yes, I guarantee you that all day Tuesday, I'm not going to be participating in anything with my family. I'm going to be looking at my phone constantly, which is the dumbest thing that you could possibly do while you're on vacation.
We went at the end of January or beginning of February. I think it was January 31st. We were there during the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is like totally way less important to me than Election Day. It was not a problem at all for me to be hanging out at Disney World while the Super Bowl was going on and paying zero attention to it. Like that did not bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
The election, no, I would want to stay in my room with my laptops open and like tracking things. Like my attention to it was going to actually affect any change in it, but
Right.
I need to know. So I don't know how you're going to do that, but it's going to be something.
Well, all night, I'm going to be begging you to let me call you and tell you what I think.
You just
Please.
think about the dollars you're spending per hour to beg to call back to St. Louis and,
I
and
know.
work.
No, I don't want to think
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to see if we can connect with Matt Walsh. If we can't, Tony Colombo is going to be in studio with us, and we're going to do a little signs of the apocalypse. So stick around. More of the Annie Frey Show here in just a moment.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Are you sick and tired of your janitorial company not meeting your expectations? Call Jan Pro of St. Louis, the commercial cleaning company you can count on. Have you had it with your cleaning guys not showing up? Call Jan Pro of St. Louis to get the job done. The Jan Pro cleaning and disinfection process guarantees satisfaction for a wide range of industries and budgets through quality, technology, and a measurement for a consistent clean every time. Tired of no follow-up? Call Jan Pro of St. Louis, 314-989-9977. Trusted, clean, guaranteed.
The economy was booming. Business was thriving. But then the greatest health and economic crisis of our generation shook our country. Entrepreneurs asked, how will my business and employees survive? Insperity was built for times like this. Driven by our mission to help businesses succeed so communities prosper, we were there to help them navigate their way and ultimately rise above. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at the Gelman team of Coldwell Banker Premier. If you're thinking of selling your home, now is the time, as buyers are eagerly awaiting new homes to come on the market and interest rates are ultra low. Mark and Neil Gelman are able to keep up with the fast pace of transactions and negotiate the best deal for you. If you'd like to find a new home before selling your current home, Mark and Neil can help you get an edge in our competitive market and have a strategy to successfully do both at the same time. The quickest way to sell a home is to hire Mark and Neil Gelman. Their marketing can actively reach buyers like no one else, and they have a long list of active buyers just waiting for a home like yours. Also, if you're looking to sell your home quickly, Mark and Neil would love to make a cash offer within 24 hours. About 24 people from the DGS sold their home to the Gelman team last year alone. Call the agents that I have trusted to sell my home. That's Mark and Neil Gelman. Call the Gelmans today at 314-336-1991 or online at thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com, and start packing today.
Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group are working overtime to make sure that retirement is what you expect of it. You're working really hard for it right now, aren't you? You're hustling your tail off. You're saving every penny you can, and you want to make sure that when the time comes, whatever age that is for you, maybe you want to retire when you're 50. Maybe you're like, I think I probably want to work until I'm 75 and I'll just save as I go. You know, whatever floats your boat, that's absolutely up to you. But whatever your plan is, you need to make sure that you're on track to be able to accommodate it. That's where Thomas Helbig comes in. Each and every time, he is there to make sure that you are
going to be happy with the product, the fruit of your labor here. Here's how you get this free consultation. You can talk to him, get a free copy of his best-selling book, The Boomer's Guide to a Worry-Free Retirement, at 314-993-9494. Give him a call. Set up your free consultation and get started today at Thomas Helbig's Retirement Advisory Group, 314-993-9494. You can visit him online at retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Don't forget that passion you had just because Sam Page saw the political damage he was doing to himself and he eased up on a couple of those restrictions. Remember that anger. Get out and turn the page.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
My deepest and greatest sadness is for the American people. Generations yet unborn will suffer the consequences of this nomination. As the globe gets warmer, as workers continue to fall behind, as unlimited dark money floods our politics, as reactionary state legislatures curtail a woman's right to choose, gerrymander districts, and limit the rights of minorities to vote, my deepest, greatest, and most abiding sadness tonight is for the American people.
So Chuck Schumer there, choosing his words, I think pretty particularly, at first when I hear him say generations yet unborn will suffer the consequences of an Amy Coney Barrett nomination and now confirmation, the guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying. And he, if you listen to anything that took place during the confirmation hearings, he heard Amy Coney Barrett not deny her personal beliefs, not deny her faith, not deny her pro-life personal beliefs, but also say that her ability to act upon the law and the Constitution was separate from her personal opinion. I have to say, as a pro-life female myself and a Christian, it is extremely wonderful to see somebody who, represents somebody like me on the Supreme Court. Although I didn't need to see that in order to know that the thoughts and the convictions that I have about these important issues are the right ones to have. And that's why I want to bring on our next guest. Matt Walsh joins us now. He's a writer and a blogger and host of the Matt Walsh Show on the Daily Wire, Monday through Friday. You can find him on Twitter at Matt Walsh Blog. And I will be joining Matt Walsh. I as the MC, and he is the keynote speaker this Thursday in St. Charles for the Vitae Foundation's annual pro-life event. Matt, thank you so much for coming on with us. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm really looking forward to Thursday's event.
Yeah, I am too. Thanks for having me.
For sure. What do you think about Chuck Schumer's message there? Especially his selection of the words generations yet unborn will suffer the consequences. Do you think that those words, as frustrating as they might be for somebody who, has a pro-life advocacy about themselves, do you think he's choosing those words flippantly, or do you think he knows what he's doing?
Yeah, that's always the question, because you hear this kind of stuff from Planned Parenthood sometimes too, language that it seems like they're almost trolling us or something like that. And I'm not exactly sure. I think what Chuck Schumer is doing there is he's just being melodramatic, and he's trying to, as the Democrats have been this entire time, they're trying to conjure up moral outrage about this completely normal thing that Republicans have done, which is to nominate and confirm a Supreme Court justice. They have the constitutional authority to do it. They've done it. There's nothing weird that's happened here at all. And they're trying to pretend that this is some sort of cataclysmic event. But of course, we want to talk about consequences of generations yet unborn. The consequence, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, is that more of them will be born. So if you see that as a terrible consequence, I mean, many Democrats are basically antinatalist, anti-life. So maybe they do see that as a bad consequence. But I tend to see it as a wonderful thing worth celebrating.
You're a father yourself. I'm a mother. And, I think that you, as a man speaking out about pro-life issues, really warms my heart, because I know there are a lot of people out there that are telling you that you don't have a place to speak on this issue. Why is it that you speak so clearly on your pro-life advocacy, and also so incredibly plainly, so that you don't have to look around what you're saying and try to get to the point? You usually get straight to it, and I appreciate that about you.
Yeah, well, thanks. As far as speaking plainly about it, I think we have to do that, because we have to find a way to negate the euphemisms, the sort of circumspect way that pro-abortion people talk about it. And They have a lot of different, they have ways of sanitizing it. They talk about reproductive justice and all these different kind of words to get around the fact that what we're talking about here is killing human beings. And so we have to speak directly about it. It's upsetting to talk about because it's an upsetting thing, but it's happening. And we can't try to fool ourselves by partaking in this sanitized rhetoric along with pro-abortion people. And as far as being a man who speaks out about it, well, I mean, I think as first of all, as a human being, this is something we're all affected by it because these are our children. We were all unborn humans ourselves once, so we all have a stake in this. And then even as a man, I also believe, I guess I'm old-fashioned, I believe that men have a duty to protect the vulnerable and the innocent. And there is no group of people more vulnerable and more innocent than unborn babies. So I think men have a special role to play with this issue.
We're speaking with Matt Walsh, who is going to be the keynote speaker this Thursday, October 29th, at the St. Charles Convention Center at Vitae Foundation's annual St. Charles Pro-Life event. I will be emceeing that event. I will be there. If you want to learn more about this one specifically, go to adsforlife.com. That's adsforlife.org, adsforlife.org. Matt, when you're talking about these issues, it certainly is probably, I'm trying to think of an issue that might be more of a flashpoint for people. The emotion that goes into this issue is so heightened, and it seems as though there's so much at stake. But I think it's pretty clear to me that abortion is the equalizer for women to have the same sexual freedom that men have. And the idea that in order for women to have that same sexual freedom that men have, because they're not the ones who have to bear the children, that we would then give women the same access to the irresponsibility that men who abandon women in those situations get to, I guess the word is enjoy. Seems like a terrible word to use. Seems like we're doing it entirely backwards. That it's like the ultimate depravity that what abortion permits everybody, every player in this situation to do. And I'm curious if you have an opinion on how we got to this point in 2020, Roe v. Wade being signed in the 70s, or being decided in the 70s, I should say, to now. I feel as though it's gotten progressively darker and worse over the course of time. What do you think has contributed to that?
Yeah, I think I think one thing that I've noticed anyway among the pro-abortion movement is they have, and I've been talking about this for years now, I think they're getting away from, I mean, you go back to the 90s, and I can even remember when I was younger hearing the phrase safe, legal, and rare. Those were the marching orders. That was the banner that they marched under. And you notice, they never say that anymore, especially not rare. Of course, they say they want it to be legal, obviously,
Shout your abortion.
and they still, right? They still pretend that it's possible to have a safe abortion, which of course is impossible because by definition, at least one person is being killed in every abortion. But they don't say rare anymore. In fact, if you do talk about having rare abortions, then you're going to be shouted out of the movement. In fact, one of the previous presidents of Planned Parenthood, that's one of the reasons she was kicked out, is because she still was had this 90s mentality about abortion. And so I think where they're going now is they're saying, look, it doesn't matter if the unborn child is, we're not going to argue about personhood. We're not going to argue about humanity. That's irrelevant. The point is, this is my body. I can do what I want with it. And so the moral status or the scientific biological status of this quote unquote fetus is irrelevant. And this is just all about me and what I want. And I think that's why it's getting even darker, because it's becoming an even more explicitly selfish, self-centered movement, where it's just about the individual and what does the individual want. And if I, as the individual, want to do this, then I can do whatever I want, including killing another person.
Yeah. Well, Matt, I will see you on Thursday in St. Charles. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say there and inviting everybody to come join us. Go to adsforlife.org to reserve your spot right now. Matt, it's a pleasure having you on the show. Look forward to seeing you Thursday evening.
Thanks a lot. I'm looking forward to it as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. At Matt Walsh blog on Twitter, and you can check him out on the Matt Walsh Show daily, Monday through Friday, on the Daily Wire. So pretty cool to be able to talk to him. I enjoy his take on things because he does it in a way that is straight to the point. All right, we got another guest in studio right now, transitioning from Matt Walsh about abortion to Tony Colombo and Signs of the Apocalypse. Let's see how smooth this guy can make this.
Tony actually just ran out
left.
to get something on the printer.
What did he do?
So
What
not
did he have to
smooth
print?
at all.
You should have just been Tony.
Ryan, do you have a Tony voice?
It's a little higher than mine.
That's not.
Is that close? No.
He's gonna not come back in the studio.
Yeah, he's not going to be happy with that.
I thought when he said printer, it might be the one just outside the studio, but
You know the show ends at 3.
Yeah. Running on Tony Colombo time. We all know about it.
Wish I would ask Matt Walsh another question.
Let's see how fast I can pull up a sign of the apocalypse.
Just waiting. You can if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can see the door, so you'll be able to see when he comes in. He's gonna be all huffy puffy. Maybe if you play the intro now, when he comes in.
This is just so like I expected
worst.
him to be back by now. I don't know.
Hey Tony.
Tony.
Okay, I got one.
Go for it. Signs of the apocalypse.
Signs of the apocalypse on the Annie Frey Show.
Apparently, recently,
Are you doing it in Tony's voice?
I'll try to. No, I'm not going to do full Tony, but I'll try to find the cadence.
Mid Tony.
Yeah, mid Tony. Here's mid Tony. It's a story about a girl. I literally just typed in something like story, and so I don't even know what this is.
Perfect. Tony's still not in.
I'm really excited that right after this gets over, I have to have my annual meeting with Steve. So go on.
Oh, here he is.
You're not going to hear the story about a buffalo who attacked a girl.
Neither are you, Ryan. Aren't you
No.
sad?
Yeah, doggone.
All right, Tony, you really left us hanging there.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
We're rocking and rolling.
That was
just waiting for you. Show up
that was
here.
a quick break. All right.
We didn't have a break. We were in the segment.
Oh, I thought it was interview break tones.
No.
Well, then that makes sense.
Yeah,
that
we'll
while
have
you were
it.
taking some time.
Yeah.
Let's spend another 6 minutes
Yeah.
talking about it.
We'll talk about
I'm
this
just
afterwards.
saying.
Dang, and I even had a picture for this one, and I'm not on the stream. I
In
know.
other news, a massive buffalo was stampeding
Please.
right toward her.
Knock yourself out.
Are you doing signs?
She jumped
Whoa,
into
we
her
needed
seat
to do
as quickly as
something.
possible.
What was
Slammed
the
the door
story? I
behind
want to
her.
hear the story.
And then she honked the horn repeatedly in an
No.
attempt to scare away the buffalo.
Okay, never mind. I don't want to hear the story anymore.
Crazy.
It's almost Halloween. 40% of Americans, 45% of Americans think that ghosts exist. Only 39% think they don't. 16% don't know. 45 more Americans think ghosts exist than not. Is that surprising to you? I was surprised by that. Katie is deep in thought.
I don't think it's surprising because think of all the horror movies that people buy into. Because
Where do you fall on that? Ghost or not?
I'm not really
Not
much
ready
of a
to make
believer
that.
of
Not ready to make that
ghosts.
commitment.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Annie.
I believe in demons. I
All
don't
right.
believe in I don't believe that my grandma that just passed away is hanging around.
According to this survey, 20% definitely believe, 25% probably believe. So more people believe than not believe. New wellness trend, hugging. You want to guess the next word?
No, I'm scared.
Anyone? Cows.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
People. Why ask why?
I'm
Why
scared.
ask why? People are hugging cows during the pandemic as a way to feel better. So here's the thing: it started as a Dutch practice called cow hugging. They call it when you
How'd
hug
they
a
come
cow.
up with that name?
Yeah, when you hug a cow, they call it cow hugging. People literally hug cows for hours at a time. The BBC says,
Are they
quote,
stoned?
the cow's warmer body temperature, slower heartbeat, and mammoth size can make hugging an incredibly soothing experience. And during the pandemic, cow hugging has become extremely popular.
Don't cows kick too?
Yeah, what does a cow
Like they're
think
pretty
about this?
notorious for kicking, like horses are.
I don't think are cows notorious for kicking?
Yeah, I think they kick like their back legs if they're
I don't think so.
upset.
Brad says on YouTube, I grew up on a farm. Cows are filthy. I cannot imagine hugging a cow.
There you go.
I'm with you, Brad.
Brad, did they kick? I don't think they kick.
I think they
Horses
kick.
kick. I don't think cows kick.
I'm looking it up.
Look it up.
What are you going to Google? Just tell us what you're going to Google. Do cows
Cows kicking.
A paleontology conference that moved online because of coronavirus ran into trouble last week when the chat filter kept banning something it believed was an inappropriate word. The word that the chat kept censoring from the paleontology conference, bone.
Unlike horses, cows can kick in almost any direction with ease. They also have a much better one-in punch. They kick often.
Any direction?
Any
like if
direction
you walk up
with
beside
ease.
a cow, it could just like punch
Side
out.
kick?
Mm-hmm. What about up?
Yeah. What about uppercut cow kicks?
Up probably is a little bit difficult, but it's saying almost any direction with
any
ease.
direction. Hard to have a paleontology conference without the
Matt
word
Walsh
bone
is still
being
busy.
mentioned from time to time.
Oh, Annie, do you want us to stop? Should we just go to break?
I mean, if that's an option. No.
It's not. It's not.
This is a personal one that I ran into this week while on YouTube. There's a new trend. There's a new piece of YouTube content that everybody's copying and doing, and it's hacking into Zoom meetings. A lot of them are in school classes where somebody will hack in and look like they're part of the class. They're doing it to high school classes and college classes, and they'll be doing things like smoking a bong.
Wow.
Yeah. So they hack into a school, like a high school class, get into the meeting. They're one of the little boxes of all the other kids. And then the guys will start, and then they record it. They record the teacher's reaction, how long they can get away with it until they get caught. And then their whole goal is to end the class. Yeah, I ended the class. And it's catching on as a new
Man, we're bored.
YouTube piece of
like
content.
Deja vu.
To spend that much time and effort breaking into.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, don't you have anything else to do?
Also, that's
Just for
also
the
kind of
views.
talented.
Well,
You being a little hacker like that.
Yeah.
But they're making,
But it's a good
I mean, if they're getting views off of it, off of YouTube, they're making money off of it. So they're getting paid to do
They're making
this
a profit.
thing that has to be questionable, if not illegal. It's got to be right on the edge if it's not technically illegal.
Smoking a bong.
Timeshare. One more? Yeah, we got time for one.
Oh man.
Is that a cow?
Cow just kicked
that
the
a
lady
cow
in the
kick?
face. if
Get
you're
her
watching
done.
it.
What is she?
This is
That
a cow
cow's in
kick
an office.
compilation on YouTube.
Telling you what.
How did it get in the office?
Yeah, that cow's just walking in.
You got one more. You got to hit it.
Last
Go,
one, a
Tony.
timeshare company. Well, I'm watching the cows. A timeshare company has come up with maybe the safest possible way to have Thanksgiving with your family. You book a 15-night trip where everyone quarantines for 2 weeks in their own suite. And then on the last night of the vacation, after you've quarantined for 2 weeks, you have Thanksgiving together with your family. It costs over $2,000 to do that.
Jeez.
That
Good
is,
grief.
yeah.
That's extreme.
That's what they call a sign of the apocalypse.
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen.
I know. We're all just watching the cows kicking people in the face.
Cow's kick. Katie is correct. Katie is now officially the Annie Frey Show cow expert. I will never
Thank
doubt
you
your
all.
cow knowledge again.
Thank you. I am
This
smart.
is a bullfight. This seems a little out of it. Oh, wait, that's pretty good.
Oh, it's done. We'll share the cow kicking video on the Annie Frey Show Facebook
What is that thing
page.
doing?
Yeah.
It's just sticking there with
Is that
its
what
legs
cows
up
do?
in the air now.
Oh, there
It's
you
like
go.
I really wish I had someone to kick right now. All right, DGS is coming up next, and I feel like we finally have done something stupider going into their show.
So beat the drum. If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk and in